And my response was,
You
nice
stole that bike.
effing stolen bike. And then I called him a piece of blank, and then I had some other words for him. And then he was like, whatever, man. And then he rode off the other direction.
Yeah,
and then
whatever, man.
And then I went back to, I wanted to go kick him off the bike and steal his bike. So I went from, I should steal that bike, to F you, I'm not buying your stolen bicycle, to I want to steal that bike again. And then I rode off. Like, what?
So if you stole the bike from him, would you look for its rightful owner?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you?
I could not.
Why didn't you do that?
Well, because then
you would have been a hero.
But again, this goes back. I'm not kidding. Like, someone's doing bits now, because I just had this like less than a month ago where I contemplated the same thing with stealing a homeless lady's dog. And I couldn't steal the homeless lady's dog, just like you can't steal a bike from a homeless person. It's right there on a busy intersection. There's cameras.
What?
You can't just kick a homeless person off a bike and take it. And by the way, I can't ride two bikes. I can't ride two bikes.
Technically, you can't. But I mean, why are these, like, how does that guy get? Let me ask you this way: when somebody steals your $5,000 bike,
yes,
how much of it is on you for making it stealable? Like,
well,
I mean, seriously.
What, are you victim blaming now?
There's a level of culpability,
but was the bicycle dress too sexy? That's what you're saying?
It looked
like
a $5,000 piece, Jason.
Look, let's make sure we're not doing anything to provoke.
Yes, the homeless.
No, I'm just saying, like, short of him, like, how does he do that? I guess that would be my question. How does this guy get that bike? If you didn't lock it up.
My guess is a pair of bolt cutters cuts off the lock and you ride away with it.
So if you have so then
even if he doesn't have bolt cutters, maybe he finds a way to finagle the stand that it's on or the device that it's attached to.
The sad one is, and this is like why a lot of people, like, when I say, like, I have to ride through a little home, there's one street. Like, it's about a 10-mile ride from my house to where the gym is. And there's one street, the final street, that you have to ride through. And I guess I don't have to. I could go around it, but you just ride through it. But there are homeless camps where people won't ride, like the Springwater Trail, because, like, homeless people have been known to, like, attack people. They throw something at the bike, they knock you over, and while you're laying there on the ground, people run away with your bike. I mean, it happens. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't stop to ask the man with one shoe where he acquired the bike. What
I'm getting at is, if you have a really expensive bike, how much care do you put into protecting it?
I'll tell you what, if I owned that bike, like, my bike is nice, but it's not anywhere like that. If I had that bike, under no circumstances would I leave that outside chained up.
Right. Even chained up.
No.
And that's what I'm getting at.
I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Like, there's one
now,
of those, like,
if he did it if he stole it the way you're talking about, then of course that's.
Yeah. Like, if I have that, like, even, like I said, my bike is half what that is. But if I go to, like, a store, I will bring it into the store with me.
Right.
I will not leave it out in front of the store.
I might even handcuff it to my sexy body.
Yeah, you can't leave that stuff out. And I don't know where he acquired that or anything like that. But I guarantee you that the man with one shoe did not acquire that bike legally.
Well, that much we know.
Yes.
That's pretty obvious.
Someone said, could I be legally charged for stealing something from someone who stole said item?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't think you can. You're good.
You can't be charged with stealing it from the original person, but I think you could still be charged with stealing it from the person who stole it.
I'm not gonna lie.
he was going to buy it. This is what I'm saying. Pay the $100, buy it, and you're good.
I'm good.
That's probably true.
You don't know it's stolen.
I was really mad. Like, it
You were steaming when you walked in today.
I was really pissed.
He's like, would you believe this?
I was as charged up as I've been in a while. Just because getting something stolen from you really sucks. And getting something really nice stolen by a dude that probably, and I don't know, $100, like, what does it cost for me to buy that from him? He, like you said, he has no idea.
You should have found out.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't. My first reaction
missed opportunity here.
My first reaction was just anger and F you and trying not to get off my bike and kick him in the chest. That was my first reaction. And then I thought to myself, someone is just doing bits on me now. Like, the homeless lady with the dog is now sending this guy. He's like, hey, watch this. Let's see if we can piss this guy off. It's just. You
gotta let it go, man.
I gotta let it go.
You're too angry.
Yeah.
Weed in you.
There was too much. There was too much high tee, but at least I had the I guess I suppose I did the right thing today by riding off, right? Or was the right thing to get that bike and then try to find its rightful owner? Because now I feel kind of bad. Like, if I had gotten that bike, and I don't know what I would have done with 2 bikes, I guess walked him across the street. But then again, like, is there like, does the homeless camp come after me at that point? I don't know how all that works.
I think a real hero gets the bike.
Well, and then I find the rightful owner, like I post an ad for it or something.
Maybe we already have it. The text line says, dudes, I have a friend who was riding Max last Sunday after a 60-mile ride and got his $6,000 bike stolen off the Max. Maybe it's his.
Well, that would be...
how does that happen? Because aren't you on the Max with the bike?
Yeah.
Maybe got threatened. I don't know.
They do have like there's places on the Max where you can put your bike.
Yeah.
So maybe, and like on the buses, you can put them like on the front. But again, if you have a $6,000, that bike ain't leaving my hands.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know what. I don't know what's going down. But that little stretch, it's like a 1-block area. It is Thunderdome down there in Vancouver. The same area like a week ago. I saw a dude with a dustpan and like a hefty bag, and he was cleaning up the trash because they just dump it all over the street. And I was like, oh, that was really cool. It was really nice. That dude's out cleaning. Like 3 cars down, there was a lady going through giant trash bags, just dumping trash on the road. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, that lady sees the dude sweeping up, and her response is, well, I'm just going to go ahead and dump some
There might be
more.
something in there that she needs, you know?
Just my tolerance of the homeless. I know it's not right, and it's not like I shouldn't be this way. But boy, my level of tolerance we're on its last leg. It's just getting there.
You know, there's only one thing you can do.
Buy a cruise ship?
Run for mayor.
Mayor of the Couve, let's go. I don't want that. Yeah,
see, there you go.
I'm unelectable. I've said too many problematic things. I mean, how many drops do we have on the show that would eliminate me from contention?
Probably 50.
Yeah. I mean, the white power ones alone. I mean,
the color white to me just always
hell
works.
Out of these hogs.
I just have always preferred the whites.
It's not.
You know, John Bertrand has a good idea. Why don't you just trade bikes?
I wish I could have more white things.
I wouldn't do little kids because that's, I don't know.
Well, hey,
I stand
that's for you.
I stand by
that. The people will love to hear that.
Yes.
They'll be like, oh, I like this.
Happening.
I like the guy who won't do little kids.
Yeah.
He's great.
It's a controversial stance, but it's one that I'm willing to take. And apparently I won't steal bikes from homeless people, even though I kind of feel like I should. So,
well, maybe you could start a crusade and start being the guy who steals back stolen items from homeless people or tweakers. That could be a business.
Like a Robin Hood of the homeless?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that ends with me getting shot with a bow and arrow or some sort of shanking situation. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Having it been around the homeless like encampment, that did cross my mind too with the interaction. I wasn't certain like how many there were because they lurk. It's
they got nothing to lose, man.
If anyone knows that area of which I'm talking about, it's like right across from like 4th Plain. There's like a Barnes and Noble right there, and like the Walmart that went out of business. It's the Walmart shut down. It's like they're like, nah, we're not dealing with this. There's like a little corridor right there, like a 1 to 2 block area, and it's not good. It's not good. I don't think that's the area that you want to start. That you want to start stuff.
I counted the days. If this helps you, it won't.
Yeah.
Actually, it won't at all.
No.
But we have a really big and disgusting homeless encampment right here by our office.
Yeah.
By the Stewed.
Mm-hmm.
And I counted the days.
Yeah.
Because they swept it out and they cleaned it up and they put all this mulch down and everything.
Yeah.
And there was no trash or anything. It's just under an overpass.
It's all cleaned up.
It was fine. I counted the days before I saw somebody back in there. And I did yesterday see a man back in there with his garbage in his tent.
Mm-hmm.
9 days.
9.
So they spent all that money, and they bring these big ass trucks.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
And there were a ton of, I mean, it's a huge area. Like there were a ton of people that had to move out. They had to move out all their stuff. And so it is a large undertaking. A couple days it takes them to get them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They got them out of there for 9 days. And now you've already got a guy back in there, and I think there's another guy across the street. And before you know, now I'm going to start counting how long before it's full again.
So basically,
It's really obnoxious.
we probably spent $1 million, and it's going to buy us what, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we spent, but it's just it's a futile exercise because it's like, where did they go for 9 days? Somewhere else and annoy somebody else, and then now they're going to be back through here.
Yeah,
It's like, what is the end game here? What are we doing? Who's winning? What is occurring?
Well-
Jason Sekanic for mayor.
my pledge to you: we won't steal dogs, and no little kids. It's my two platforms.
I wouldn't do little kids because that's, I don't know.
That's
No,
cringy.
no, it's not. That's a good thing. It's a positive spin that we're putting on things.
And he was talking about refereeing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that makes it better.
Yeah. I don't
You're
know.
an idiot, Sue.
I'm still in pretzels. I still feel like I should have. Now I feel like I should have taken that bike. I really do. But the idea of giving that dude money, just giving him money for rewarding that piece of crap for stealing someone's really nice item.
Well, you could have just stolen the bike.
I know.
Vigilante justice.
Vigilante justice. I guess that's what bothered me the whole thing when he's like, "Yeah, you want to buy it?" Like, yeah, that's cool, dude. Just go. Like,
He didn't need it.
no. Ugh.
Luxury item.
Luxury item. Although, with his one shoe and kind of a mucky day, that bike probably does help him. It probably keeps his foot a little dry, at least the bottom of it.
All right, we got to get to going. We got our poll question pertaining to a little bit of development in college football.
Hey, someone's saying don't look now, but I think the Mets have a hit.
All right.
Yeah.
There will not be no hit.
Yeah, bottom of the 8th. One hit, but no runs,
Who got it?
but one hit.
I got to tell you,
my guess is McNeil.
outside of McNeil and Lindor, I can't. Well, Alonzo.
Do they have Sean Mania now?
Who else is on the Mets?
Hold on, I'm looking to see who got the hit here.
We'll be right back. Okay, it's 3:19 on the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. Fantastic. The imaging is updated. Isachi. I'm your host, Isachi. It's my new rebrand. Thank you.
Things are going great.
Please respect it.
Yeah.
By the way, before we get to the poll question, it pertains to collegiate football.
Is the Pac-12 not anymore?
It's Division I football.
I was looking into your Mets.
Yeah.
Now, I usually ease into the Major League Baseball season like a hot tub.
That's what you should.
You
don't cannonball your way into that. You ease into it.
I mean, I don't pour over rosters or anything like that. So I had lost sight of what the Mets had really done. I mean, I know they have Alonso and Lindor; those are their key guys in the lineup, and Jeff McNeil, and so you were mentioning how terrible they are. Although they do have a hit, in the second half of that doubleheader against the Tigers, they're still losing 1-0. So I went and looked at their lineup. Boy, they are considerably worse.
Yeah, it's not good
than last year.
Yeah, I mean,
and then I looked at payroll, and I didn't know this. They have the highest payroll in baseball.
Well, they're still paying a couple.
Where are all their players?
They're paying a couple of the pitchers that aren't there anymore.
Oh, Scherzer and Verlander.
Yeah.
So they're at $305 million, and this is their lineup.
Yeah.
Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Beatty.
Now, he's one of the young guys that came up last year. Last year, when they were sucking eggs, they started bringing up some of the babies. So they hope that he can.
They have high hopes for him.
They have high hopes for him.
Starling Marte.
Yep.
This guy's name, Tyrone Taylor.
Mm-hmm. And he's like a platoon guy. He's not.
Well, this is the second half of a doubleheader, so maybe this isn't their best lineup. But then they have Narvaez at catcher, Harrison Bader.
Yeah, and he came over from the Reds last season.
And Joey Wendell.
Yeah,
who, if you watch Joey Wendell, looks like he's like a throwback to like 1912. Have you watched him?
He was on the A's for a while, right?
I think he came.
Rays.
I think he. Yeah, I thought he was.
Okay.
Was it the Rays? I thought he came over from the Marlins.
Marlins too. I think he's.
oh
my God, we were all three right. A's, Rays, and then Marlins.
Dude, it's not.
Have you seen him?
It doesn't. He's terrible.
He's like
very old timey.
Yeah, just Google Joey Wendell at the plate. Yeah. He's got no batting gloves, and he looks like he's up there. He should have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Hey,
don't we already have a small white guy that slaps hits?
And then some guy named Buto pitching, Jose Buto. Like what? Who are the Mets? Who's winning?
They got Severino, which and Miguel's on the DL. Sanga's on the DL.
Wait, Miguel? Who? Miguel?
Yeah.
Who's Miguel?
Tyler Miguel. And he's on
McGill.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Miguel.
Oh, McGill.
You don't even know your own players. That's how bad they are.
He's on the DL. Sanga started. He was supposed to be their number one guy, and he's actually good. And he's on the DL too.
Yeah, he's got a shoulder injury.
Yeah, we don't know when he got hurt the first day of spring training. So look, things are going great. We got Edwin Diaz back. If we ever had a lead, we could close a game. But
well,
it's not great.
Maybe by now we've learned that it's not about how much money you spend.
Apparently not. Because last year they had the highest payroll in baseball, and that went nowhere.
But usually when you have the highest payroll, like $300 million, you look at the lineup and you go, "Wow, that on paper that should be way better." You don't do that with the Mets.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be like a lot of high price. We got JD Martinez now, so there's that.
Oh yeah, he wasn't in the lineup.
No, so
I guess he's not there yet.
He's not. Well, I guess he's working his way up because remember he didn't go through spring. Training or anything.
Well, anyway, the Mets are stupid and they suck, and you should find a new team.
Well, how about the Orioles? Can we do that? Is it too late to jump on them?
My Baltimore Orioles?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with
Come aboard.
I'm sticking with the Mets.
I love the O's.
Sticking with the Mets. They're not good, and
Here's our poll question.
It is.
It is on X at 1080 The Fan. It is brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling, a family business helping families for over 60 years. AAAIAQ.com.
What is the deal?
Yesterday, we asked you, how do you view the state of Oregon State athletics right now? 53% of you said they are absolutely screwed. 24% of you said it's just a new normal. And 23% said darkness before the dawn.
Oh, well, that's good. Got some positive vibes going.
Yeah, so maybe a quarter of Beaver fans are optimistic?
Yeah, I was talking to, because, there's some Beaver fans that are convinced that I just hate them, which couldn't be further.
Which you do.
Couldn't be further from the truth. I love my Beavs. I root for my Beavs. I'm just a realist. And then we got another section of Beaver fans that think that I don't hate them. I'm just a pessimist, which, there's something to that. And then I've been hearing from a lot of Beaver fans that are like, look, we know deep down that you're right. We agree with you. We're just not ready to admit it yet. You're going through the 7 stages of grief.
It's not what they want to hear.
And acceptance hasn't hit yet. And so, you're holding on to something.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. But we'll see what happens. And, maybe they prove me wrong. And next year
fans don't like truth.
No. Truth hurts.
They don't want truth.
No. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
They want you to tell them what they want to hear.
Well, what they want to hear is that everything is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, I don't believe it is.
Well, I've been saying that I think it will be.
Yeah, you think that the ACC and all that will collapse and that there'll be a spot for them.
That leads us right into today's poll question, which we're going to have to talk about after we get back. But the Sharks are circling college football, and they've got this new thing called College Sports Tomorrow. I don't know if you read about this.
Yes.
But this is what I'm talking about. Like these guys, and I don't know if these guys are going to gain any traction, but they are talking about swooping in, getting rid of the NCAA, getting rid of the college football playoff, completely changing the model. And there's a lot to it. But in this model that they want to put forth, Oregon State and Washington State would have a place at the table. And it's all over, and you're back to equal or in the ballpark revenue-wise, and you can compete just like you used to.
Yep, that was
that's what I think is eventually going to happen with Oregon State and Washington State, even though it's rough right now.
Yeah, and this was in The Athletic as the first place I saw it. So
well, that's who wrote it.
That's who wrote it.
It's from The Athletic.
Yeah.
No, but I had not heard of this before The Athletic wrote about him.
And now a bunch of people are picking up on it and writing about it.
Yeah, but The Athletic had it first.
Yes.
That's real journalism.
Yeah, The Athletic's nice. And it's cheap.
So when we come back, I'll give you the poll question. Then when we come back, we'll tell you everything that they're thinking. But the question today on X at 1080 The Fan is, which statement best describes the direction of college football? A better system for all, radical but necessary, or disaster to ruin? Those are your 3 options. Vote, and vote hard.
Please.
Are you going to vote or no?
I'm still noodling.
Okay. We'll come back and talk about it. But the Sharks are circling college football. Yeah. People with money, they see college football spiraling. There's no future.
I love that. It's like we're coming off the biggest ratings we've seen, record revenue, and yet
well, but if you're big money guys, you see the point is that there isn't anyone who is on the inside of college football who can tell you what this is going to look like in 5, 10, certainly longer than 10 years.
No.
And that's where the Sharks are going, aha, we can stabilize this for a small fee.
See, I'm debating between the better system and then the necessary. I'm leaning towards radical but necessary.
Well, we'll give you the break to think about it.
Yeah.
We'll be back, and we'll talk about that. And we'll tell you, this is kind of an interesting, the College Sports Tomorrow group, kind of an interesting group. We'll tell you what they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's coming up next. Here's Buck.
You can't just kick a homeless person off a bike and take it.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan in baseball, the Oakland Athletics announced today that starting next season, the club will play their home games in Sacramento at the 14,000-seat stadium that currently is the home of the AAA River Cats. The A's will play there through the year 2027 before they move to Vegas in 2028 if all goes according to plan. In the NFL, additional details to the Stephon Diggs deal revealed today. The Texans will wipe out the final 3 years of his contract, making him a free agent after next season, but the franchise will bump up his one-season salary to over $22 million in guaranteed money. In college hoops, the USC Trojans have hired former Arkansas head coach Eric Musselman to be their next head coach, replacing Andy Enfield, who left for Southern Methodist. Meanwhile, we get the men's NIT championship game tonight between Indiana State and Seton Hall. Tip-off for that one at 4 o'clock on ESPN. Robbie Avila and the Sycamores are favored by 3.5. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price, with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay, plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
April is here, and it's time to call Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, save even more with no interest or payments for 24 months. Don't miss out. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
Ready for concert quality sound in your vehicle? At Car Toys, we can radically improve your audio without touching your dash thanks to our innovative technology. Hear what a digital sound processor with professional tuning from JL Audio, Alpine, or Moscone can add to your factory sound system, starting at $799. Want a safer drive? Get free installation on select Apple CarPlay and Android auto receivers from $229. Get the drive you deserve, in-store or at cartoys.com.
Car Toys, a better way to go.
Odyssey presents a joint venture with Hulu's High Hopes.
Yo, what's up? This is Jared from the Dirty Heads.
A secret 420 Dirty Head show. Win a trip for 2 to LA. Enter now for your chance to win at Odyssey.com/highhopes. This month, reality TV hits a new high. High Hopes premieres 420, streaming only on Hulu.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-4574. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254.
Yeah, no new host, just a brand change. That comes from the guys misspelling my name, Isache, on the YouTube stream. Mm-hmm. They spelled it Issace, which is not even close. But I'm leaning into it. I kind of like it. Isache.
It's pretty good.
I think it's great. My cologne will be out soon. I've got someone designing the logo as we speak for the designer brand. And
very excited.
Now, will it just be called Isachi, or will it be something like Juicy by Isachi?
We're toying with that.
Okay.
We're workshopping it.
I do like
Isachi.
Juicy by Isachi. I'd
It's
wear
pretty strong.
That could be an offshoot brand, perhaps.
Well, right. I mean, a lot of these, Armani has multiple scents. So does Burberry, whatever.
It's like
it could be your
Gio
second
by
one out.
Armani.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like, hey, what are you wearing? That's Juicy. Juicy? Yeah, Juicy by Isachi.
Isachi.
Even better.
Poll question today on X. Which statement best describes the direction of college football? Better system for all, radical but necessary, or disaster to ruin. That's up there now. So vote and vote hard. Please.
I'm still going with radical but necessary.
Okay. I'm
not,
checking the results.
It's not better for all, and it's not this idea that college football is circling the drain.
You know what's winning?
I think that's foolish.
Winning right now. After 50 minutes live, 42% decline to ruin.
Even though they're, again, coming off one of their most successful seasons ever and just signed
that's what people think.
A giant multi-billion-dollar deal with ESPN.
In their mind, they're ruining college football.
Well, apparently the TV execs and everyone watching disagrees.
So here's the deal. Written up in The Athletic. Did you have any inkling about this?
No,
I didn't either.
I just saw this in The Athletic, and then it was popping up on Twitter. I mean, I didn't know about this specific one. I didn't know that they were actually they had a group of people and that were having meetings. I mean, people have talked about the super leagues or super league for a long time and what the model could look like. I just didn't realize there was a group that apparently is trying to get this thing kickstarted.
Yeah, so where it stands now, you got the Big Ten and the SEC taking over, and really the power lies within the college football playoff group.
Yeah, which essentially is the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah.
And by the way, the one thing you need to know about this is the two people that have refused to meet with this group so far are indeed the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yes, this I will say before we get into what they want, this group and who they are, it is not gaining much traction.
No.
Because everybody's, clutching their bags of cash.
Well, the two people from the collegiate world that are fronting this, so there's some NFL executives, the Philadelphia 76ers owner is part of this. But the two universities, the people that are at the front of those universities that are trying to push this are Syracuse and West Virginia.
Okay, so here let me just go through it.
No offense to Syracuse and West Virginia, but nothing is happening in the world of college football because Syracuse and West Virginia are pushing.
Yeah, but Gordon Gee is the president at West Virginia, and he is a big shot.
He was the president at Ohio State.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's really not about what school they're at. It's about how much power they wield, and Gordon Gee is a major player in college athletics. He has been for a while. Now, so here's what they write. This is all from The Athletic. There are several college presidents and Roger Goodell's right-hand man who have joined forces to form something called College Sports Tomorrow. It's 20 or so people. It includes the lead organizer is a guy by the name of Len Perna. He runs Turnkey ZRG. And what that is a search firm that places all the league commissioners and everything.
Yeah.
So Len started it. He's got West Virginia President Gordon Gee, who is a big name. You have the number 2 executive from the NFL. His name is Brian Rolap. Yeah. He's Roger Goodell's right-hand man. And you have Sixers owner David Blitzer. There are about 15 other guys involved who weren't named.
And it's important to know that even though this guy is a high-up NFL executive, the NFL in no way is a part of this. This is just this guy doing this on his own as a little side hustle. The NFL is not involved in this.
So they say.
Yes.
Here are their goals. They want to obviously move the NCAA and the college football playoff out. They would take over. It would be one league governed by them. It would have no conferences. It would have relegation and promotion. It would have better NIL and transfer portal management, and it would pay players directly. Their idea so far is the top 70 programs would be organized into 7 10-team divisions. There would be an 8th division, and in that 8th division, you would have about 50 other schools. Think the San Diego States or the, whomevers of the world. Maybe even, I think Oregon State and Washington State would get a place in the top 70.
You would hope.
But anyway, they didn't list who, what schools, but we kind of all know who those are. Anyway, the 8th division would be the one that would be for promotion and relegation. So the top 70 would never be in danger of being relegated. But in the 8th division, those 50 or so teams would have the incentive of promotion.
So let's say every year, if Boise State has a rotten year, Boise State could get bumped and Liberty could jump up and be a part of the big boys. So you'd have a cast of 50 competing for 10 spots and then the 70 permanent. Because that was always the thing when people have thrown out the whole idea of regulation or relegation. Sorry. I knew it. The moment it came out, I was like, nope. When people have thrown that out, the one thing that is always, no one with any sort of authority would ever agree to even having the thought of that. It's just that that's a non-starter, but the idea, at least they're smart in saying the idea of protecting the bigger brands, at least you could throw it out there.
In the postseason, they say would be 8 division winners and 8 wild cards. Pretty easy 16-team tournament. And they said universities would own a percentage of the league.
Yeah.
That's what the Athletic had. So it's interesting, certainly radical. This is the first inkling that we have important people behind the scenes making these types of moves and having these types of meetings. Yeah. I mean, this is what needs to be happening behind the scenes. We assumed it was going on, but now we have concrete evidence that it is and who's behind it. I don't know what comes of this. Well, perhaps a different group. Perhaps they get traction. Who knows?
The only thing that this would have any sort of impact is if this launches another group with a different but similar idea. There is zero chance, and I mean zero, that this goes anywhere. I mean, first off, let's start with the major problem, and that's that all the TV right deals between ESPN and the conferences are tied up for the next 10 years. So look at what the ACC is having to deal with right now, trying to get out of that, like the Florida State trying to get out of that deal. Imagine going to ESPN and Fox and being like, yeah, remember that those $1 billion deals we signed? Yeah, we don't want to do those anymore. First off, that's not the way it works. Second, good luck convincing the Big Ten and the SEC, which basically run everything right now and control the number of playoff spots. They control their own money, and you're telling them that they now have to subsidize how many other teams? And yes, they're going to say that this is going to be weighted and given more money to the big boys, but how do you figure that out to what percentage? What incentives does the Big Ten or the SEC, who is literally getting paid out right now $70 to $80 million to everyone else's 30, why would they do anything to try to upset this system? The only way that anything like this even remotely begins to get traction is if the powers that be, the Ohio States and the SECs of the world and the Notre Dames, when the model starts affecting them negatively, or there's a giant upside and the money is so egregious where they can't say no to it. But in what world are you going to come up with more money significant enough right now? Look at the TV money right now that's coming into college football. In what world are you coming up with a deal that is going to be double this, that gives any motivation to these big boys to come to the table?
Well, it said it in their world. And you asked me what world? It's the world where they all go bankrupt because of all the lawsuits.
So that's the only one.
That's what they're banking on.
So there is a couple lawsuits right now going through. I know we're up against it. If you want to talk about it, we come back.
Well, we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah, there's a couple lawsuits that the universities could be on the hook for massive damages to players
and the conferences.
And that, yes, that could be one that would force you to the table.
Side note, sports note. Do you guys like sports?
Yeah.
Mets win.
Look at that.
They won. 2-1.
They're back, Sue.
Pete Alonso hit a home run in the 9th inning to tie it.
The GD polar bear.
That's your guy right there.
I love it. I love it.
Now,
you know what? Everything's right with the world.
Now 1-5.
You know what, though? I feel like a 30-game win streak coming on. With that lineup, with that pitching staff.
That's the spark they needed.
That's the spark they needed. There you go, polar bear.
All right, we'll continue this over next. It is 3:48 on the Fan.
Thanks to George McCoy.
So we're talking about the College Sports Tomorrow model, and they want to come in and punt the NCAA out of the end zone and take over college football. We read to you the details of what they're thinking last seggy. No conferences, 70 teams, 7 10-team divisions, collective bargaining for the players. They get paid directly, the whole thing, making it more like professional sports. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me read you this. So you were saying there's no way this happens with the exception of the one way that they believe it will happen, and that is lawsuits.
Yes.
I'll read you this quote. This is a paragraph from the article. While the CST model would eliminate the long-time conference structure for football, it would create one entity to negotiate with a prospective union that would represent the players on NAL, transfer portal, and salary structure rules. This embrace of collective bargaining could allow it to avoid the antitrust issues that have limited the NCAA's ability to enforce its own rules. Perna, the head of it, said, "The only way to solve the problem is to have a solution that is legally defensible, politically acceptable, commercially prudent, and is able to strike a partnership with student athletes in a way that's really good for them. College administrators are particularly concerned about the House versus NCAA class action suit in Northern California, seeking NIL revenue denied to athletes prior to 2021 rules changes."
And that goes to trial in January of next year.
If the plaintiffs are successful, the NCAA and the power conferences could be on the hook for billions in damages.
I think 4.2 is the number that I've read.
The House case is one of several potentially crippling federal antitrust suits related to athlete employment rights and NAL compensation. I really think conferences in the NCAA are at a very significant likelihood of going bankrupt in the near future because of these lawsuits, both the ones that are going to trial soon and those that will follow.
So
that's why they're thinking they'll have an opportunity.
So I've listened to Charlie Baker, who's the new NCAA president, multiple times. He is begging. Whenever I'll try to cut through this the best I can. Whenever you hear Charlie Baker and the NCAA begging for Congress to get involved, they're desperate for national legislation to come in and give them antitrust protection. Because Charlie Baker has said multiple times that, remember the Tennessee case where Tennessee and Virginia sued basically the NCAA saying you can't enforce any NIL deals against us? Charlie Baker has said multiple times that the problem is that any rule we come up with, any rule that we try to enforce, we have to enforce it in 50 different states. And the moment we do something that someone doesn't like, they just sue us. And we're either going to lose in court and we keep getting our asses kicked, or it drags on and there's injunctions and therefore we can't govern anything. So he's basically saying at this point, we have no ability because everyone is just going to sue us. And so if there was a national law that was passed by Congress that would give them antitrust protection, they could come to the bargaining table and try to keep some semblance of what the NCAA is right now. Some form of revenue sharing or expanded NIL or whatever. He actually has some decent ideas that I think make a lot of sense. I think Baker's a pretty smart guy. The lawsuits they're talking about, there are a lot of universities right now that want all of the Power Five, because remember, they're just suing the Power Five, right? So it's 68 teams total. They're suing the Power Five for basically back pay. They're saying, hey, we want all of this NIL money for a period of time. It's like 8 to 10 years. And that's to the tune of 4.2. I think when you add in all 4 cases, it's north of $5 billion. There comes the bankruptcy thing. So what some universities are begging the NCAA do is to put all of these into one and settle. Come up with a settlement. And this is where you could possibly see something like the supermodel come in. Because at that point, if you got together and you said, okay, we're going to settle this. One, the courts at that point, they're saying would basically make you come to some sort of revenue sharing agreement where, okay, these are the damages that you're going to pay. And going forward, this is the percentage that the athletes get. Now, who would be responsible to pay out whatever that settlement is? Let's say it's $1 billion, right? Let's say they settle for 800 or 900 million, $1 billion like the NFL did. Basically, what some have suggested is any university that wants to get in on paying that gets a spot at the table. And anyone that can't or isn't willing to do it, you are cut out. Thanks for coming. And those that are left standing that can basically take this on would be left with the status of you are in the highest division. And so that's kind of a rough framework and there's some that say, no, go to trial. see what happens here, because either way, we can't afford to pay this. The problem is that if you do go to trial and lose, certainly in the House or the Carter one, you're gutted. I mean, imagine having a $4 billion judgment against you. It just, and I don't know, and no one seems to know what that would look like.
Well, Alex Jones would know.
Alex Jones would know. I mean, at that point, you've got universities and athletic departments filing chapter 11 and restructure. And I mean, that's total chaos. I mean, who knows what the hell happens then?
Well, and that's why these guys are sitting there going, hey, let's get this right so we're protected. And of course they want to make money off of it, and they will make money off of it.
So,
like somebody texted in and said, where'd that go? How about this? How about we break, and when we come back, I'll read a few texts.
Let's do it.
People have thoughts about this.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll wrap this up next with your commentary. It is 3:59 on the Fan. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the College Sports Tomorrow group, which Big Sook is a part of.
Yeah.
He's been roped in.
Me and Gordon Gee. Boy, if you ever want to see what a parasite looks like, look up Gordon Gee.
Is he a bow tie guy?
He's a bow tie guy. And just everywhere he goes, he's just a smarmy dude, but he
got the little glasses.
He raises a bunch of money. He says a bunch of dumb stuff. And then, like, I heard it put best once. No one has ever left more places richer and worse off than Gordon Gee. Like, he gets you a bunch of money, but he leaves you worse for wear when he takes off, and yet always lands on his feet, and he just kind of shifts around. So, like, there's an idea out there that if Gordon Gee's involved, it's a bad idea. Yeah, but it just goes to show you that there is so much uncertainty in all of this that there's going to be a vacuum that people are going to try to fill.
He had to step down as president at Ohio State when he jokingly referred to Notre Dame as those damn Catholics.
That's why he had to step
down? Well, and he doesn't care.
I think that was the last straw.
And he's also a university president that hates academics. He doesn't give two S's about academics.
I thought it was like more that he just let Tressel do whatever he wanted with the football program and all that.
There's an element of that too.
Well, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I know.
He's an interesting guy.
So a couple of text messages on the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. It can be reached at 503-864-6326. Somebody said this particular group probably won't get this pushed through, but they are greasing and getting the right people talking about the inevitability of a power college football league breakaway from the NCAA, and that is good for the Beavs and the Cougs, and I tend to agree with that.
Unless the price of getting into the new the new order, the new world order, if it comes down to a thing with the lawsuit and you have to be able to sustain the blows and pay the freight, Oregon State and Washington State won't survive. So that's the only bad side about that. But yes, you would think that if it was a 70-team conference like the one they're proposing, you would assume that Oregon State and Washington State have a place at the table. But again, how all this would go down, I mean, you would have to have, again, it would have to be bankruptcy and TV deals torn up. Again, just remember that all of these TV deals that are in place, it would be nearly impossible to unwind conference deals and college football playoff deals anytime before, 2030, 2032, before you could even consider that. So, I mean, you're maybe talking about something that could be a decade off. And by the way, that is under the idea that no extensions get signed. I mean, we know that the college football playoff is even looking even further down the road already to look at sign something. So there's just some of this stuff is so premature.
Another one says, I get what they're trying to do, but I don't want a bunch of billionaires buying college sports. I'd rather see an actual governing body with collective bargaining for players.
Well, and that's what Charlie Baker is trying to do. He wants antitrust protection from the federal government, and then he's willing to sit down at the table and basically bring his idea is to bring NIL in-house and then have some form of basic revenue sharing. And then you get rid of the because if you get rid of the antitrust stuff, then you can have contract with players, but not have it be employees. Because believe it or not, when they do surveys, the majority of college athletes don't want to be employees. Because when you become an employee, that's a whole other different ballgame. That's not all raspberry, Frogurt, and scones for players. So they kind of have the best of both worlds right now.
I thought it was raspberry scones and Frogurt.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay.
So
just checking.
There are rules with that sort of thing?
There's guidelines.
We think
in between the buoys. So what Baker wants to do is say, look, let's not make you employees. That complicates things for everybody. But give us antitrust, and we can basically sign contracts, give you a place at the table. You're going to make more money, and we still keep some form of NCAA structure, and you keep it within the universities. What that looks like, there's a lot to be figured out, but that's his path forward, which is kind of what that person is saying is they still would like this to be under some umbrella of kids getting educations if they want to and still having ties to university, which is what people love about the sport in the first place.
And you know that, I mean, look, if they do it right, that could win out. I wouldn't bet on that because that's the NCAA.
Yeah.
And they're a joke, but it's all about leadership. And if Charlie Baker actually has some good ideas that make sense for the big players, then maybe they can save it. I just feel like the NCAA, I feel like the major players right now, the college football playoff guys and the heads of the Big Ten and the SEC, they don't need the NCAA.
Yeah.
They don't want the NCAA. They will make more without the NCAA and be in charge of more without the NCAA. So they have an interest in kicking the NCAA to the curb.
The only caveat to that is they need the NCAA for everything else. The only way that this works, the way you're talking about, is if these universities basically say every other sport besides football and basketball, go to hell. Because you do need the NCAA to run swimming and diving and rugby and lacrosse and soccer and everything else. The NCAA actually does a really good job of running those things. So again, this goes back to the fundamental question. How much do you want those sports to exist? How much effort and time do you want to spend into propping those up? Or do you just want to say, sports is no longer a collegiate thing. It's a club thing, and the only thing we really care about is a separate entity of basketball and football.
Wait a minute. I think that's going too far. I would say, is there a world where, they've already talked about, where football and basketball are doing their own thing outside of the NCAA, and then the rest of the sports are with the NCAA?
Yes, but the NCAA still has to be funded, and the way it's funded now is through the NCAA basketball tournament. And if you break that away, then the NCAA is crippled because there's no money to run any of that. So if you did break away, you would still have to have those powers put enough money back into the NCAA to run those. And again, is Ohio State and Alabama and those schools going to be benevolent enough to give back close to $1 billion so that the NCAA can run those other...
What happens to those sports if the college sports tomorrow people take over? I mean...
They basically become club teams.
Same boat.
They become club teams, and the alumni will have to fund it, and the championships as we know them go away. Like you won't have an NCAA soccer champion or maybe even the women's basketball championship, like the March Madness, which is grown by leaps and bounds. Something like that could even die on the vine. But I would think that with that, it would be popular enough at this point where maybe they would, they'd put money into it. But there's just a lot of different facets, because in one way the NCAA is irrelevant, but in other ways it's beyond essential. And believe it or not, and this is going to sound crazy, and Vancouver Ford text line, it's the best text that I've seen all day about this. What a mess. It is. It is an absolute unmitigated mess.
Yeah, it really is a free-for-all right now.
And the problem that we have is I really do think that Charlie Baker is a smart guy that gets it and is trying to unwind this thing. The problem is he was made captain of the GD Titanic after it hit the iceberg.
It's like George Kliavkoff.
Yes, and he has been tasked with
I'm very confident.
unhitting the iceberg and patching the boat, threading that needle. Can he do it? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
But the NCAA was so stupid for so long and fought this. And had they just, if you could go back even 10 years and tell them this is going to happen, and everyone knew it was going to happen. If you could just tell them that, and they started to implement the things that they're talking about implementing right now, this system would already be in place. People would be getting paid. Players would be getting paid. Everyone would be happy. Unfortunately, now I just wonder if it's a dollar short and a day late.
Well, I think it all comes back to the lawsuits.
Yeah,
that really.
Can you settle them?
That really matters. What ends up happening there, and there's a lot of them, and there are more to come.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the problem, is that there seems to be new ones filed all the time.
Well, and that's what these college sports tomorrow people are thinking, is that, and that guy said, it's not going to be that long. They believe before the conferences are bankrupt because of these lawsuits.
Possible.
So if that's the case, then it's blown up. It's gone.
Yeah, and then you think about, do all those TV deals and all that, does that go to court? I mean,
a mess.
Bankruptcy court and all that. I mean, I
It's
don't
a
know.
mess.
And at that point, do you have universities just throw their hands up and are like, we're done. We have no more athletics.
Yeah. Well, it's wild out there. They be wildin'. Isn't that what the kids say?
Yeah, I think you got your ear to the
Hip
teenagers.
with the kids.
You hit with the kids.
They be wildin'.
Yeah.
I don't know. No one can. That's the thing. No one can predict anything with this. It is Thunderdome.
Yeah.
So I just prefer to look at it optimistically and say that in 10 years, I think college football will be in a better place. It should be. If people are paying attention, there's a lot of money to be made.
There is.
And, when there's a lot of money to be made, it's funny how stuff gets done, right? Structure happens.
The only problem with that is I don't think that there is that much more money to be made than what's being made right now. Like,
If the universities, like, for example, one little example of that is in the College Sports Tomorrow thing, they were saying that the universities would have an ownership stake in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is pretty enticing to, if you're talking big money and you're talking getting out from under the whole thing we were talking about yesterday about how universities don't really care about sports because it's 5% of their budget or whatever. Well, that could change it.
It's possible.
Revenue streams.
I wonder when you have that many entities to split it with, how big can these TV deals get? And if you have to start sharing money with athletes, which is an inevitability in one shape or another, I just don't know if the pot can grow enough to make everyone happy with the status quo. Like,
well, you'd certainly have to trim some fat.
Yeah, there is a
and that's
limit.
what they're talking about with at least with football. But basketball is even harder because you have 315 schools or something.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Football, you'd only have about 120.
Yeah,
70
and
initially,
70 that would
and then the other 50
get paid.
All right, the A's. Our A's. They have a new home.
Kind of,
sort of,
maybe.
That is next. It's 4:17 on the Fan.
The
What's up? It's me, Asachi, watching the NIT championship game here in the Stewed.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem. It's a shame he wasn't in the NCAA tournament.
Well, you figure they made a run here. You wonder if, had they gotten in, damn Ducks hadn't knocked them out. New Mexico.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe Indiana State would be in the Final Four right now.
It's a shame. It's a damn shame. The people need Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I really would think that man would be a T-shirt guy. Like,
what do you mean?
Well,
a T-shirt under the jersey
a T-shirt
guy?
under the jersey
because he's kind of fat.
Well, he's kind of fat, and
wow,
boy, he's got some skin problems. It's not. It's you haven't seen him?
Oh no!
I mean, I've seen him, but not. I haven't looked at his skin.
It's. I don't know how you can miss it. And I feel bad. I'm not trying to make fun of him.
Yeah,
at
but
all.
there does appear to be a back knee battle going on.
It's just it's a rough a rough go of it. And you just would think that maybe you would be like, it's college, you're a little sensitive to be a T-shirt guy, although maybe that's like one of his advantages. Have you ever played pickup ball with someone that's maybe they got some bad mitts going on or back hair or some really bad acne? You don't want to guard that guy. He starts backing down and throwing a zitty shoulder at you with a nice patch of hump hair. You don't want anything to do with that. That may be his secret advantage.
Maybe he's letting that fly so he can get a nice juicy NIL deal.
It's possible.
For Zit Cream or something.
What is the Proactive, right? One of those.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's not the most attractive man in the world.
No,
How about
and
that?
that's part of his appeal.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You may be
Cream.
thinking we're saying Kareem. It's cream as in whipped cream, because he's a kind of a chunky white guy with rec specs.
He's also been called Larry Blurred.
And he's great. He plays for Indiana State, and they're in the NIT final right now, which we shouldn't care about, but for some reason we do. It's them against Seton Hall.
We only care because of him.
Milk Chamberlain.
That's fantastic.
Well, and they're in Indianapolis too, so it's kind of a home game for them. Like, it's pretty wild there. Like, when did the NIT move?
A couple years ago. I feel like a year ago this time we had that conversation. We were all surprised it's not at the Madison Square anymore. So it's got to be the last couple years.
And it's funny too in that so Indiana State and Seton Hall were two of the last teams booted out. Like, Seton Hall, a lot of people thought should have been in because of the whole Big East thing. Remember, that was Dan Hurley that was like, hey, it's a shame St. John's and Seton Hall, these are really good teams. And then Indiana State was kind of the darling of college basketball. And so, I mean, both teams are making a strong case why they should have been in the tournament.
Steph Blurry. Another one of his nicknames. By the way, his real name?
Does anyone actually know what his real name
Robbie
is?
Avila, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know that until somebody texted that in. Yeah, Robbie Avila is his actual name.
Yeah. And he just, every now and then we get one of these. Like, I'm trying to remember. We've had like 2 or 3 of these kind of dumpy white kids over the years, and we've fallen in love with them.
He's like a poor man's Drew Timme or something like that.
No, I'm trying to think of who this kid was. Was he
Pittsnoggle?
No, God, the text line will know this. There was a guy like 2 years ago that was like this. He had like a bad haircut. It was a bad mullet.
For who?
Oh, God, I'm just drawing a complete and total blank on this.
Oh, was it the University of Chicago, the Sister Jean guy?
Yes,
he had kind of a mustache
it was.
thing?
Yeah.
That was Loyola.
Loyola, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, pervert mustache. And he had a pair of man boobs, and he was out there getting it done, and we loved him. Like, we love... there is nothing that in our country that we love more than fat guys that are good at sports, because it's like when you watch Dwight Howard, when you watch a body like that run up and down the court, no one can relate to that. Like, Dwight Howard eats nothing but like candy and like smokes cigarettes, and he's like the most in shape human being in the world. So when you're just sitting on the couch, you can't relate to that. But when you see Robbie up here running around, you're like, I've got a better body than that.
I think the guy you're thinking of is Cameron Krutwig, who looks like Officer Farva from Super Troopers.
I think that's
right, because they beat the Beavs.
What's his name?
That's right.
What was his name?
Cameron Krutwig, Krutwig. I think this is the guy.
The Beavs beat them, right?
They played each other. I can't remember who beat who.
Yes, that's who I'm thinking of.
Who did the Beavs lose to in the Elite Eight?
It might have been them.
I thought it was them. They didn't go to the Final Four, though, did they?
They lost to Loyola?
I don't effing know. I don't remember any of this.
I just remember a weird white guy with a bad mustache and not a good body, and for a brief moment, everyone loved him.
So the Beavs lost to Houston.
Okay. So they did not lose to my man Cameron here.
They beat Loyola Chicago the previous round in the Sweet 16.
They beat him in the Sweet 16. Okay.
There you go.
And then lost to the Cougs in Indianapolis. Fittingly.
Full circle.
The A's have a new home, guys.
Kinda.
They're going to be playing in Sacramento.
For now, they do.
Yeah, temporary. 10,000 up to 14 standing room only, I think, at the Sacramento River Cats, and they have to split it with a AAA team.
Yeah, I was wondering where are the River Cats going.
They're nowhere.
I think they're staying.
So
there,
they're both playing there.
They're both playing there, so it's going to be an interesting schedule. I'm assuming that the A's take precedence. You imagine they'd be like, "Hey guys, we're going to need you out of the clubhouse by 3:00.
I feel like it's
got a Sacramento River Cats game we got to get ready for."
I feel like it's going to be weird for the rest of Major League Baseball when you hit them for your one road stop there, and it's completely unlike the rest of the league. Like their overhead shots of the stadium, it looks like a glorified high school park. I mean, it's not.
I would like to point out that the Phoenix Coyotes right now, in the NHL, play in an arena that seats 4,000 people
for a club team,
and the club Arizona State hockey team. And by the way, they don't fill it up.
I was gonna say that's probably plenty for them.
They do not fill it up.
Well, what if the River Cats outdraw the A's?
That'd be something.
Well, we said this
they
last.
Start giving away free A's tickets with the purchase of 2 River Cats tickets.
Yeah, they do this all. We've done this all the time. Like over the last 2 or 3 years, there are a ton of days where the A's attendance they put it up to a bunch of minor league teams. In fact, I think it was last year there were like 10 minor league games the same day as the A's around the country, and I think I want to say 9 of the teams outdrew the A's. So you're not wrong in that they could get outdrawn. The question is, does anyone because no one's going to the A's games. Does anyone in Sacramento go to A's games?
I think there will be a large contingent of people in Sacramento who probably are baseball fans and that will enjoy it because of the novelty. But I think diehard fans are so mad at ownership they still won't go.
And there's a prevailing thought out there that Sacramento. Well,
yes,
Sacramento,
they're trying to steal them.
They're trying to steal them.
The Sacramento Kings owner came out and spoke today at this event saying, "We're hoping we get 3 years to show the league what we can do."
And because they're going to fill that place up.
There's some weird I still haven't quite figured out exactly what is happening, but there seems to be a lot of people that think that the A's in the Vegas thing ain't happening.
They haven't secured any public funding yet, and they apparently don't have, or they haven't secured enough public funding yet. And it sounds like they're not getting the backing of the public and the government there, even though some businesses are sure, you can come.
So, I mean,
I don't know.
Is there a chance that Sacramento? Well, and then this goes back to the whole Portland thing. If Major League Baseball gets so tired of Fisher's crap and they make him sell, a la the Phoenix Suns or old Shotzi baby in Major League Baseball, I don't. Is there a chance that Portland is still in this mix and jumps in and swoops them? Although Sacramento having them in Sacramento, and if you draw 14,000 fans, Is that obviously a big feather in your cap?
I tell you, for the MLB to Portland guys, for all this work that they've done, for Sacramento to come out off the top rope and get the A's, boy, what a kick to the balls that would be.
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Because we thought all along, right? I guess you would still be competing against.
And you still got Vegas.
Well, and that's the thing is that if it goes to Sacramento, are you now competing with Salt Lake and Vegas for the expansion team?
Dude, if Sacramento gets a team...
I don't think they're going to because they need a stadium in that amount of time.
Well, if Sacramento gets a team, Portland's out because then you have Vegas and Salt Lake City, 2 way better markets in Portland for baseball.
But Vegas still needs to actually get on board with baseball, which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
it's just been bandied about.
I don't know. I think all of this stuff that it's not a done deal. A's to Vegas, come on, they'll make it happen. There's too much money involved, right? They're already blowing up the Trop. I mean, it's. I'm guessing the A's are going to Vegas.
I think probably, but I think that there's a non-zero chance it doesn't happen. Maybe 20%.
Every time anytime someone brings it up, there's and there's people that are in the know, like smart writers that are like, well, don't count your chickens.
No idea. Okay, so the A's are going to play in Sacramento next season in 2026 and in 2027, and then there's an option for a fourth year if their stadium in Vegas isn't done. They're trying to get it done, or they're hoping to have it built by the start of the 2028 season.
Yeah, and Oakland was trying to put together, I guess, kinda. Oakland had put together a proposal for them to stay in Oakland, but there was like 9 poison pills in that thing that they were trying to get Fisher to agree to all these different things. And you're like, yeah, that's not happening.
There have been a variety of proposals.
Especially when there's more people in the parking lot protesting you. Like at some point, doesn't Major League Baseball just have to say enough is enough of this crap and kick this a-hole out?
No, I don't. Especially if he goes to Vegas and starts making him a bunch of money.
He has to drain.
Did you see what he said today?
What did he say?
He said that he couldn't remember any of his players' names.
No.
So he was like, hey, I'm really excited to see Aaron Judge hit home runs in Sacramento.
He's like, yeah, he said players like, and there's kind of a pause. Players like, well, stars like Aaron Judge. Like he couldn't name a player on his team who might do that.
How?
Woo!
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how is this dip-ass allowed to continue to own this?
He's got money.
He doesn't have money, though.
Well, he must.
Well, if he does, he can't spend it. He's just a drain on baseball.
It's bad. This is as bad as any franchise has ever been in sports.
Yes. Rob, there is a possum infestation.
I know.
And sewage and cats. I can deal with one rodent infestation. But stray cats and possums? I mean, I just don't know how the other owners, and by the way, he puts nothing into the coffers. He takes everything back in revenue sharing. Even if, like, you say, oh, it's Vegas. A new owner moving to Vegas would still be better because we still don't know if his cheap ass is going to be any better when he's in Las Vegas. He bought the team for like $180 million. He'll sell it for $2.5. Force his dumb ass out.
What could you buy the A's for right now, do you think?
I'm saying it would still probably cost you $2.5.
Really? That crappy ass franchise?
Yes.
Because it's a franchise in Major League Baseball,
and by the way,
which
it's a franchise
automatically makes it worth something.
A pseudo agreement to move to Las Vegas.
Yeah, this says they are valued. Forbes has them valued at $1.2 billion.
They would sell for $2. Anytime those valuations, no one sells for those valuations. So make your $1.7 billion and go away.
How much culpability does Oakland have in all of this?
Oakland wants to keep them, and Oakland wants to.
But come on, if you really wanted to keep them, wouldn't you have kept them by now?
See, I don't. If it had been
because
if this had been a normal owner, I would say yes.
Oakland was willing to play ball with them.
So many times.
The A's were not willing to play ball with Oakland.
Yes.
So Fisher has wanted to leave the whole time.
Unless he can get a stadium entirely funded by the city, which he has been pushing for. He's one of those guys that doesn't want to pay for it himself and is trying to get as much money as he can from local government, and they don't want to give it to him because they're like, you can make plenty of money if you just invest some of your own.
And he didn't even want just a ballpark. He wanted an entire development, like kind of what
waterfront type deal.
Yes, he wanted what the Portland Diamond Project is doing, but he wanted Oakland to be on the hook for it. I mean, the gap in between the last proposal that Oakland had and the city, I want to say it was like 40 million. That's it. That was the gap. And Fisher was like, nope, we're out of here. Because the money that, I may be off slightly, but the money that Vegas was offering to kick in versus what Oakland was, I want to say it was like 35 or 40 million bucks.
Yeah, basically what it came down to is you'd rather be there than here because we haven't been willing to bend over backwards for you.
And I just...
Isn't it wild to think that guy went to Princeton and Stanford?
Well, he's obviously fairly smart because he bought something for $180 million and now it's worth...
Is he, though?
He was smart enough to buy a crappy organization and just sit on it. And he's been making money hand over fist because Major League Baseball has revenue sharing.
Well, I think just because you're rich doesn't mean you're smart. He was I think he was original partner in Gap, wasn't he?
Was he? I don't know. I don't know where Fisher made his money.
I think that's where he
was
made
it
his
Daddy's money?
No, I think he was a partner in Gap. But
so he sold sensible slacks and made a bunch of money.
Is Gap still a thing for the kids?
Well, Gap owns Old Navy and Banana Republic, and I I think those are still.
Oh yeah, dude. No, he's the youngest son of the Gap founders.
Oh, see, he did Jack S.
Yeah, so he's like he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything other than he won
inherited
the ball lottery.
And he's tried. Yeah, exactly. He's tried everything he can to screw it up.
Pretty much.
It's hard to screw those up, right? Like
it really is.
If you have a franchise, I mean,
it's
you
like
can't...
bankrupting a casino. Who could do that?
Exactly.
Oh,
wait.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. It's like you buy something. You buy one of those like the A's are the worst franchise in all of sports. I've never seen a worse franchise.
Yep.
On all levels than the A's, and that's still making him money.
Oh, he'll make $1.5 billion.
But think about how poorly he's run that thing, and what it looks like. He's still making money hand over fist.
Yes.
It's a foolproof. Like, you think casinos are foolproof? Well, Donald Trump proved that they are not. But
that's still remarkable to me.
It is remarkable.
Yep.
But sports franchises, that's like the number one investment now.
Yes.
Number one investment.
And if it
foolproof.
is, especially if you got in back in the day, because now.
Well, you know what though? I just saw a thing that I was reading about the Royals deal
Yeah.
in Kansas City. You know, they're trying to get a new ballpark and all this. You know, they have a new owner, and he bought that team. I was just reading about him today. He bought that team for $1.1 billion, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, what a steal!"
Yes, like that is.
And he bought it like 3 years ago.
But it's not like it like in whoever was smart enough to get in like in the 80s. Donald Sterling, if I remember correctly. When Donald Sterling bought the Clippers, I think they were even in San Diego at the time. I think he bought them for like $10 million. Donald Sterling bought something for $10 million and he sold the Clippers for $2 billion. And you want to talk about, he was Fisher before Fisher, because that was the worst run franchise in all of sports and ran it the same way that Fisher did, was forced to sell due to his horrible racism, and his punishment for it was $2 billion. $10 million to $2 billion. So yes,
but he was heartbroken over losing that team.
Excuse me, you had your facts wrong.
Did I?
$12.5 million is what he paid. It was what he paid.
Think about that. So yes, that's a bargain at $1.1 billion, but it ain't the Clippers. It's not. It's not $12.5 million.
I'm gonna do some math.
To $2 billion.
This is going to be probably wildly inaccurate.
Yeah. Well, throw it out there and let someone.
Yeah, let somebody here. Okay, I have a math problem for you guys. You're right. That's the better way to do it. Don't let me do it.
That's the way to do it.
What is the so if let's just say 10 million. If what's his name? Sterling. He bought for 10 million and sold for $2 billion.
$2 billion.
If a guy buys a team for $1 billion,
what does he have to
what is the equivalent of the percentage increase? What would he have to sell it for?
All right, I'll
to
try
make the same percent.
We'll try to do it, but have someone out there actually do it that knows what
please,
they're doing.
Let's not do it on our own.
I'm gonna try.
All right, in the news is next. Here's Buck.
Now.
cannot figure this out.
And we're getting,
it's
and
mainly,
neither can you, the listeners.
Yeah, no one can. But it's mainly because the iPhone calculator does not
go
that high. You can't enter $1 billion or $1 billion on the iPhone calculator, which I think is a flaw.
We did figure out this. So if we're gonna round it to 10 million that he bought it for, he bought it for 12.5. But if he bought it for 10 and he sold it for 2 billion, he 10 million of that, it's 0.5%. He bought the Clippers for less than 1% of what he sold it for.
Yeah.
So
if you take that, so the question is what is?
So it's 200 times more than what you bought it then, right? If it's 0.5%, 1% would be. If you go from 1% to 100%, that's 100 times.
So what?
The Rose would have
0.5% would be 200
so it's
times.
200 billion.
200 billion?
The answer is 200
There you go.
billion.
200 billion.
I believe I think that's right. In order for the Kansas City Royals owner to make the profit that Donald Sterling made, he would have to sell the Kansas City Royals for $200 billion. So
thank you.
This is what I'm saying. Like, as awesome an investment it is right now, there was no investment quite like buying a team, especially a team in Los Angeles. Imagine that. Whenever he bought that thing in the 80s, he bought an LA-based basketball team for $12 million.
Hey, did you know that?
Holy crap.
You can enter, if you turn your phone sideways, you can enter more than $1 billion on your iPhone?
I did not know that.
How about that? Who knew that?
I had no idea. I don't have an iPhone, so hashtag Android life.
All right. It is April 20. No, it isn't. It's not that. Is it April 20?
It's not April 20 anything.
No, it's not. Boy, our math is just...
It's over! Buy 2 windows and get 2 windows free. So if you need 8 windows, you get 8 windows free. No, 4 windows free. Does that make sense? Wait, 8 to 4. Yep, 4. No, 8. I don't know.
Yes. Where was I? It is April 4th.
Yes.
2024. It is time for In the News. I'm your newsman. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can now be referred to as a Sachi. Thank you. It is National Burrito Day.
Oh, I love a burrito.
There's also National Hug a News Person Day.
Oh.
So you can give me a hug if you'd like.
If you see someone out on the street, although, would you want a stranger to come hug you?
No.
I think that might be a little weird.
Leave me alone.
I'm more huggable than you are.
The Aloha Warriors. You know Aloha High School?
Yes.
Well,
they've elevated their warrior.
Yeah, they've had to look at their mascot, the Warrior.
Yeah.
Might be a little insensitive.
Well, my junior high had to go through this. We had to rebrand.
From Warriors?
We're still the Warriors. We were the Y East Warriors. And now we're the Y East Warriors, but we're Spartans, as opposed to we were Native American. Because Y East is because of the mountain. It was a native theme. And so, all our mascots were Native Americans. And then, I don't know, a bunch of years ago, they changed it, and now we're still the Warriors, but all the imagery has Spartans. Because apparently none of the Greeks complained.
Students, staff, and community members are going to be looking at the appropriateness of the Aloha High School Warrior mascot.
Yes.
A post on social media says that questions about the mascot and traditions have been raised by some students and staff. The high school is asking for students to join an advisory team. They're looking for students who are passionate and invested in the questions surrounding the mascot. Which, by the way, wouldn't that be only people who want it changed?
I would think so.
I mean, who's passionate about
I don't know.
their mascot if they don't?
Well, it's a Polynesian theme that they got going on.
Well, they're saying the mascot is a Hawaiian warrior.
Yes.
The warrior wears the headdress of Hawaiian royalty and indicates that Aloha is a leader in education.
Well, it is Aloha. I mean,
it is.
Kind of makes sense, right?
So they're going to look into it.
I don't know, man.
I don't either.
I
didn't know warrior was... Why is warrior...
I don't know.
What... Help me with that one.
You're asking the wrong guy.
What about the Golden State Warriors?
You're asking the wrong... I don't even know what kind of warrior that is.
That's just a generic warrior, someone who battles. Just a person who battles.
And that's offensive or no?
No, because it's not based on,
anything.
A race or a tribe or...
No. I'm waiting for my people to get upset at the Vikings. And...
Portland State.
Yeah, let it be known.
Looking right at you.
You sons of bitches.
Suk should sue Portland State.
The Vikings never wore horns on their helmet. Ever. Not once.
How'd that come about?
Not one time. It was like from the 1970s that someone made, or 60s, someone made like a dumb movie.
So who's going to tell the Minnesota Vikings that their helmets are all wrong?
Exactly, and someone thought it looked cool that they threw some horns on a helmet. But
I mean, they're not wrong. Looks pretty cool.
It does look pretty cool, but I just want you to know, like when you're going into battle and you're trying to not die, having big horns on your helmet that's not helpful.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
And you could just ram somebody, and then it would just stay in them, and you could just remove your head.
Yeah, that never happened. Didn't happen.
And then you could club them with your big Neanderthal club they carried.
No, we carried swords
Oh.
and axes, spears.
With your furry underwear.
I'm just waiting. We smelled like terrible fish, pickled things.
And your leather shoes.
I'm waiting for waiting for some Scandinavian group to be like, this is outrageous. I don't know, man.
It's a lot.
Whatever floats your boat. This is what we have. Of all the things going on in our public schools, this is what we're concerned about.
Well, I don't think it's what we're concerned about, but when a few students and faculty raise the question, it must be addressed.
Yeah.
They cannot be ignored.
Vancouver 4 text line, and this is a great point. Wait until people look into what the Spartans did in ancient times.
Yeah, no kidding. They threw their babies off cliffs if they weren't strong enough.
Yeah, if your kid early on was viewed to have some sort of abnormality or just was viewed as a runt and it wasn't very big, they took it to a cliff and hucked it off.
Yeah, they didn't want it to weaken
How
the
do you
species.
test the strength of the baby?
Well, I think the idea was that if it was too small or there was
a
any
baby combine.
Yeah. Look,
run them through some drills.
Look, that baby better. Yeah, tummy time is a big deal, and if you're not lifting your head during tummy time, like the mom's like, son, I'm telling you,
good dad
lift
joke.
that head, because if you don't, someone's gonna shot put you off this cliff. Yeah, there's some rough times.
So is Hawaii still the warrior?
Yes, they're the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, they changed it to.
They were just the rainbows.
They
for
were
a
just
while.
the rainbows, and then that was viewed as too sissy.
That's too gay?
It was too gay. And so then they became...
I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay.
And so then they went to the Warriors, and then I think they've settled on the Rainbow Warriors. But they don't use... back in the day, the logo was just a rainbow.
And everybody, I feel like, loves and prefers that imagery because it's like nostalgic throwback, and now they're stuck being the Warriors.
Yeah.
But I can't keep up with all that.
Yeah. You know what I can't keep up with? When they scored 72 on us and ruined my undefeated season.
And they were just the Warriors. Or, I mean, the Rainbows.
No, they were the Warriors then.
Who was their quarterback?
Nick Rolovich.
What?
Nick
That
Rolovich.
guy?
That
The
guy.
COVID guy?
72 points.
That guy didn't get the jab. That's why he
Dang,
won.
That's right. He kicked COVID's ass and my undefeated BYU Cougars. Laid 72 on us.
I loved COVID.
I'm just saying.
All right. Boeing news next on The Fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
I was 6'10" in 8th grade, so it's probably around there, like when I really started getting the stares, people really started looking at me. I remember I wasn't allowed to, I got banned from trick-or-treating when I was like in 4th grade. People would get mad at me because I was too big.
Banned?
Well, not banned, but just like I would get like the little stink eyes. I was like 6 foot going door to door.
Huh. Zach Edey of Purdue. 6'10" in 8th grade, dude.
Can you imagine like 6'4" Zach
Yeah, somebody mentioning the NVIDIA guy. We were chastising him yesterday for not donating to Oregon State.
Yeah, shame on him.
He went to Aloha.
Oh.
Maybe he can go, I don't know, help them out with their mascot issues.
Yeah, someone pointed out too the Columbia River Chieftains. That was one of our high schools growing up. They are now the Columbia River Rapids because you can't have
Rapids.
Yeah, they're the Rapids.
So Chieftains is bad because
Chieftains
of the
is bad. Yeah, it was a Native American
thing.
Yeah.
All right, just keep me posted.
Yeah,
it's like pronouns. Just
But
write it all out.
The
for
Braves
me.
are fine. The Seminoles are fine, but the North Dakota Fighting Sioux are now the North Dakota Warhawks.
Just again, can you just put it in an email? I'll do my best to.
You got it.
Abide.
Didn't the school change its name? Like, was it Woodrow Wilson? Didn't someone have to do away because we found out that guy was terrible or something? Wasn't there a local high school that had to do away?
Yeah,
maybe.
Was it the Quakers? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know who it was.
Didn't the Quakers have to go away because that was problematic?
Dude, again, you're talking to the wrong guy. This stuff gives me tired head. Boeing is paying Alaska Airlines $160 million.
Seems like a fair amount for, I don't know.
I don't think that's a fair amount.
Door get blown off?
And as a matter of fact, they're calling it an initial compensation, which means, yeah, we're really sorry. Please lessen the bigger blow. I mean, dude, they're going to... Yeah, so this is for the door plug incident.
Yeah. Like when the door came off mid-flight?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's problematic.
Alaska Air Group said the amount was roughly equal to its lost profits in the first quarter after the door plug detached on that 737-9 MAX.
By the way, I got a flight coming up. It's on one of those planes.
On the MAX?
Yeah, on the MAX. I don't like it.
Dude, you're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Tell you what, my seatbelt, I bought an aisle seat, not a window, and that seatbelt's going to be nice and tight.
You think anybody will be sitting by the door plug?
I don't think you want to. I guarantee.
But seriously, you think anybody will be sitting there? I bet they will.
Yeah, someone will. And I'll bet you that person's going to be very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, they won't even know. Otherwise, they wouldn't sit there.
Well, you'll know when you sit down and you're like, hey, look at that.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying this is just an oblivious person that doesn't even know that it happened.
Oh, well, you hope that person's not even aware.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I think Boeing can afford it, by the way. What was Boeing's profits last year?
I don't know.
A lot.
Wait, Wilson is now Ida B. Wells?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. I thought one of the schools, was it like Wilson High School was named after like Woodrow Wilson, I think, and then it turned out he was
A couple
awful.
of my best friends went there, so I will ask. I did not know that.
Yeah. You don't remember that at all?
I still call it Wilson.
Yeah, there was that.
It's
and
over by my house.
And then whoever was the Quakers, I think they had to do away with that too. You can't.
My buddy who's an alum calls it Woody High.
I don't know, man.
What's the matter with Woodrow?
I don't know.
What'd he do?
Well, he was old and white. And I don't know what to tell anyone other than, trust me, don't look into any white guy like pre-1930.
Vox story. Woodrow Wilson was extremely racist, even by the standards of his time.
Well,
ultra racist.
With the standards of his time where everyone was.
And so
They're
he was
all
way
awful.
more than them? Bad news, man. Better change the name.
I'm going to look into this.
By the way, Boeing made like $7 billion last year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. $160 million. Get out of here, man.
Yeah. They made $7.7 billion last year. It was a 118% increase over the last year.
And by the way, that's just to Alaska.
Yeah.
This is not. This does not include the lawsuits from the
Boeing
passengers.
Whatever. Boeing's just out there writing checks. They're just rubber stamp. 130. Fine. Stamp.
That's your in the news for April 4, 2024. We've got the Hot 5 at 5 coming up next. USC has a new basketball coach, and the A's have found a temporary home. It is 5:03 on the Fan.
It's time for High Stakes.
All right, welcome back. Hope you're having a nice, juicy little Thursday. It's Rop and Sook, your sports bros. I am Isachi. Big Sook's right over there.
We're learning all about high school mascots and names today.
He has a lot to keep up on there.
Like
Isn't there?
There's a lot of problematic things. Woodrow Wilson, the Quakers, there's a lot happening. Madison,
Coming up tonight in the club, Tiger Woods is no longer doing it.
Oh.
And I did something today that I've never done, and I thought it was freaking phenomenal.
Your wife finally caved, huh?
You got a pedicure, yeah?
It's my new thing.
All right.
And the oldest man in the world has died. I don't know if you saw that.
Was he the hero at the Mets opener?
No, but Gary Cohen is getting raked over the coals. Have you seen why?
No.
He's the Mets announcer.
What did he do?
Well, earlier in the show, we were talking about the Mets because they played the Tigers in a doubleheader today, and they lost the first game.
Yeah.
The Mets did.
In heartbreaking fashion, and they were getting no hit into the 8th.
Yeah, they were getting no hit in the second game. So coming back from break, because the game was in New York, coming back from break, Gary Cohen, their announcer, said, nobody in the ballpark, 0-5, hitless through 7, feels like rock bottom. Because there's a picture of it. There was nobody at the game.
Yeah.
And they had no hits, and they hadn't won a game.
It wasn't good.
A lot of Mets fans are having a problem with
really
with what he said because, well, it's game 6, dude.
Yeah. It's not
Calm
good.
down.
Did you hear why the Phillies couldn't make up their game today? It was supposed to be an off day for them, but somebody had booked a wedding at their stadium, and they had allowed it. So they couldn't
Dude,
move
that's
it.
phenomenal.
Wait, in the stadium?
Yeah. They were supposed to be off or not playing, but didn't consider the fact that early in the spring that you might have some weather issues, and so they went ahead and booked that open date for someone's wedding.
Who knew that you could book a stadium for a wedding, and I can't believe they didn't tell the wedding party to go pound sand.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe they didn't just play the game while the wedding was going on. How cool of a wedding is that?
Yeah, if that's my
That would've
wedding,
been
I'm like,
great.
can we, can Bryce Harper, be my,
Where
ring
is
bearer or whatever?
Where in the ballpark is the wedding? That matters.
I will investigate.
Well, I'm assuming out in the outfield. Where else would you have it in the clubhouse? It's weird. But yeah, look up opening day. The Mets honor a
Well,
veteran.
now Citizens Bank Ballpark has denied the rumor.
Oh.
Liars.
But the Mets honored a veteran, and they found the oldest human being on the planet. It's what made me think about it because you said the oldest person died.
Oldest man.
Oldest man. This dude was 1,000 years old. He was a World War II vet. He's one of the few remaining survivors. So they roll him out there, and he has no idea what's going on. He couldn't be any older, and then they show him up there, and his name was Seymour Wiener.
What?
It was SEYMOUR.
Seymour Wiener.
WEINER.
Only the Mets. Yeah, he was a U.S. Army vet. And he just
What?
his granddaughter or great granddaughter has to tell him, they're like, Grandpa, you're on camera. And then he raises his arm. He's like, ah. One side of his face, he's got a stroke or a palsy or something. He has no idea what's going on. And then they announce Seymour Wiener. I'm like, God, the Mets? Really? Just
wow. Okay.
Only the Mets.
Coming up this hour, the other golf course the city wants to blow up for Major League Baseball, and fans to owners, an amazing FU. But right now, the Hot 5 at 5, 12. 2 days in a row.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Good at that.
Golly, I'm hot today.
That's
And
Isachi.
hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorricos.com. Number 5.
Isachi don't follow no clock.
No. I'm sure the boss loves that.
He's baller. Knicks star Julius Randle will have season-ending surgery on his shoulder.
Yeah. There was no one really believed that he was coming back. When the Knicks had it going there with OG and Brunson and that was, when healthy, that Knicks team is really good. They're just not healthy.
Right now the Knicks are losing to the Kings 46-30. Did you know that Domantas Sabonis has 58 straight double-doubles?
Yeah, dude, he's having a phenomenal year.
It's the most in a row in the modern era or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
keep seeing weird little stat lines of that guy popping up on my Twitter account of he's having a sneaky, fantastic season.
Sixers Heat tonight.
That's actually a big game when you look at the standings, as far as like the play-in and all that. But
They're in a tight one.
Second quarter, it's a
is Embiid
2-point
playing
game.
because it's a back-to-back?
Yeah,
he is.
He's 6 for 8, 15 points, bro.
Yeah, there was some talk that they may, even though the game's important, that they wouldn't play him because of the back-to-back.
There's also Nuggets
4.
Clippers tonight on TNT. Thankfully, the Blazers don't play.
How about the big Blazer win last night? Hello.
Although I don't think anybody really wanted it. But okay.
The Hornets knew the assignment.
All the men's Final Four teams have landed in Arizona. UConn, the last to get there after mechanical issues with their flight. They landed at 3:15 this morning. Now, they don't play until Saturday, so they should be good. Dan Hurley says they're already past all the issues.
There's no excuses there. Stop it.
Women's Final Four tomorrow. NC State, South Carolina will be first up. The nightcap is UConn, Iowa. There are reports that tickets for that game in Cleveland going for twice as much as the men's games in Phoenix. Wow. How about that? Girl power.
Well, it's not. It's Caitlin Clark power.
Caitlin Clark power.
She is a force multiplier on her own. She's great.
Well, you got Paige.
Yeah.
And UConn. I mean, they're a draw.
That's a big deal. But dude, if Caitlin Clark isn't in this, we're not talking about it the same. The question becomes, can the game continue at this level after she's gone?
The Mets split a doubleheader with the Tigers, losing the first game 6-3, but they rally with 2 in the ninth to win game 2, 2-1. They are now 1-5.
Damn right.
Things are looking up for the team with a $305 million payroll.
I'm sensing like a 35-game win streak.
The Guardians are now 6-2. They beat the Twinkies today 4-2. Cardinals over the Marlins 8-5. The Pirates are about to go to 7-1. Dude, the Bucks, break them up.
Are the Bucks actually good, or is this just early season?
Yeah.
Because they got a bunch of young guys last year that were coming up, right?
They started good last year, too, and went into the toilet. They are up 7-4 on the Nationals in the ninth.
Well, and 4 of those wins are against the Marlins, right? So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they started last year. Didn't they kind of surprise us? Anybody?
I do not remember the first 10 games of the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Or any of the league last year.
Marlins, by the way, own A.
Worse than the Mets.
Number 2.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the Mets are fine. 1-5, you kidding me?
Not according to rock bottom announcer there.
Yeah, nice try, Gary. Get bent. Where's Keith Hernandez?
The Pirates last year were 20-8.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
And then they were quickly 25-25.
They went right back to being the Pirates.
What are we on?
Number 2, right?
Oh, yeah, number 2. The A's have found a temporary home for the seasons 2025, 26, and 27. This is while they wait for a new ballpark in Vegas. They are leaving Oakland. First time in 56 years. They will play in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park, which is home to the AAA Sacramento River Cats. Its capacity is 14,000.
But that's only I think that's with standing room only. I think it's like 10,000 seats.
It's a 3-year lease with an option for 2028 if their new park in Vegas isn't complete by then.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk that like that is still not a certainty, that the Vegas thing isn't a slam dunk, but who knows? It's the A's.
Come too far together to stop now.
By the way, we have multiple Woodrow Wilson bad racist reports coming in on the text line and the YouTube comments.
Oh, I'm sure they're horrific, right?
Apparently he screened a Klan movie at the White House.
Number 1.
I guess that does follow the even for his time.
Yeah.
Now 2 presidents have done that.
Gosh. Thanks, Obama.
Isachi. USC has a new basketball coach, hiring Eric Musselman away from Arkansas. He spent 5 seasons with the Hogs, went to 2 Elite Eights.
Took his shirt off multiple times.
Yeah.
SoCal's a great place for that.
He's a good coach, well respected.
Got a hot wife.
He's, I think that's actually a pretty good hire by USC. Dare I say? I mean,
yeah, it's good hire.
Am I going out on a limb there?
No, I think he's solid.
Yeah,
I think we all agree.
He's got NBA experience.
Good hire. Good hire.
Good little hire.
Good hire.
The NIT championship game pits Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Indiana State against Seton Hall. They are tied at the half, 39-39. I don't know why I told you that, but if you were tuning in for hot NIT scores,
someone out
there it is,
well,
bitch.
Maybe someone's gambling on it, you know?
Yeah, but they are.
Sycamore's -3.
Dude, I'm all over Indiana. Let's go.
They're down 4.
You heard me.
Updated score, 43-39.
You heard me.
Seton Hall with PJ Carlissimo And
is he their coach?
No, God no.
I mean,
he was their coach in 1980.
That's the kind of thing they could do and just bring him back. PJ was here once; he'd do it again.
Yeah, he was the coach when they lost to Michigan in Ramil Rice.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
Ramil Robinson.
Was it Ramil Robinson?
It was Ramil somebody apparently.
Yeah,
Ramil Robinson.
I do think it was. I'm thinking of Glenn Rice.
Yep.
Reishi.
Glenn Rice played at Michigan.
Name a player for that Seton Hall team.
I don't know. Someone who choked PJ Carlesimo. I do think that
That's
Seton
Latrell
Hall.
Sprewell.
I do think that Seton Hall team had one player that was like a big deal, and I can't remember what his name is.
The Hot 5 at 5 is brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. The other golf course the city of Portland wants to blow up for Major League Baseball. We'll get to that next. This is The Fan.
The home of dirt and spray.
I'm Dirt. Michael Penix throws a much better ball than Dirt.
Seton Hall star basketball player, championship game against Michigan, Ramon Ramos.
Yeah, I knew. And he was the guy that played for the Blazers and then died in the car accident.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I was like, there's some...
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Some connection I couldn't quite put my finger on.
Ramon Ramos.
And then my buddy inadvertently sent me, he thought Ala El Nabi played for Seton Hall. He did not. He played
was
for
at Duke.
But, yeah, I see. He was like, my bad. I thought he played for Seton Hall. But it got me thinking because when he sent me the thing, Ala is Egyptian and he played at Duke. Is there a chance that Duke ever went full Patino?
I tried everything. We played 4 white guys and an Egyptian. I mean, we tried everything.
Because I thought that BYU was the only other team to ever go full Patino with 4 white guys and an Egyptian. But is it possible that any of those Duke teams ran full Patino?
Okay, so he played 87 to 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy look up here.
Did they have 4 white guys that could have played with him at some point?
I mean, it is Duke.
It's Duke.
Duke.
I think there's a real chance that we should give Duke. And if that's the case, I actually think that we may have to no longer call it going full Patino. It may be going full Coach K.
Well, Quinn Snyder was on those teams. So there's one.
There's one.
Danny Ferry. There's 2.
I think there's a real one of the guards was white.
Well, Quinn was a guard.
Oh, that's true.
Who is Kevin's? Robert Brickley? Don't remember him. Kevin Strickland.
Sounds like a white guy. We need to do some more digging into
Yeah,
this.
we're going to have to look into it.
Yeah.
John Smith. What?
White guy. There's a real possibility here that full Patino was originated at Duke, which shouldn't actually be much of an upset. I mean, it is Duke.
Where were we? Oh, this from OPB, the other golf course that the city of Portland was willing to blow up for Major League Baseball. You know, of course, the Portland Diamond Project is trying to buy Redtail.
Yes, and that would be, Portland wouldn't blow it up, but the Portland Diamond Project would blow it up if they can buy the land from Portland.
But yeah, the mayor was trying to get, so the OPB got a hold of some emails.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how people communicate, email. Type out a couple emails.
There you go. I believe it's electronic mail.
Send
Thank
them
you.
off.
Remember that was Coach Saban was calling it electronic mail. God, old.
Well, anyway, they attempted to organize a tour of Rose City Golf Course for representatives from the Portland Diamond Project. The goal was to pitch the 144-acre course, which lies near Northeast 82nd Avenue and Interstate 84, as an alternative site for a Major League Baseball stadium.
I play Rose City from time to time. I believe Joey Harrington, also a fan of Rose City Golf.
Yeah, he does play Rose City.
Yeah.
He has said that.
I think that's where I played my first round of golf ever. I think my dad took me there into like Glendevere when I was growing up.
Well, apparently the clubhouse there is on the National Registry of Historic Places.
Get right out of town.
So
seriously?
So that's a developmental hurdle, but I don't know. Look, here's the point. The point is...
Is it, though? Is that a hurdle?
Well, that's like why you can't tear down the Memorial Coliseum, because they have that weird sludge fountain down at the bottom of it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think in our area that is kind of a hurdle.
I guess.
It is.
But like, why is it a historic? It's a golf clubhouse. Why is it a historic
Now
site?
that's a good question. There is a tree. Do you know that there is a registry of trees you can't cut down? Did you know that?
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Cutting down a tree in general is way harder than you think.
And some trees you can cut down, but there are other trees that are on this list, and there's a map that you can go to and see where the trees are near your area that you cannot touch.
Yeah.
They're historic trees or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's one in my neighbor's backyard. And let me tell you, I have no idea why that's a historic tree.
But
that thing sucks.
Don't you touch it.
Oh, we're not touching it. It's not my tree. I'm just saying, what goes into naming something and putting something on a registry of historic things is stupid.
Just know that once you call something memorial, it can never be torn down in the city of Portland.
Anyway, it says here that the Craig Cheek-led Portland Diamond Project, they're like, no thanks.
No offense, but like, I know the grotto's over there, but so's the old Pirates Cove, and like it's a bunch of massage parlors. That's not
look.
That's not a great area.
I didn't want to throw Cheek under the bus.
Yeah.
But you gotta think this. So this is my commentary, not his.
Yeah.
You have to think they laughed when they pitched that.
Hey guys, I got an idea. What do you think about this
So-
sweet spot over there, right off Sandy?
I guess it's all via email. So maybe Cheek went with the LOL or the crying laughing emoji, or maybe haha, maybe the old classic.
I guess.
But then he probably said, "Okay, I'll run it up the flagpole." Well, he went to his investors and he said there just wasn't a real big appetite to invest in that part of town.
Owned by emojis.
Hey, if you think the Lloyd Center area is a dump, why don't we move it a couple miles down the road and you can see how sweet that area really is?
Doesn't that show you just how little Portland gets it?
How stupid we are.
Are you out of your mind?
Well, it's not we, it's Portland. Throw me under the bus.
Hey, maybe the North Tabor people, maybe they'll be happy over there.
Of course,
I
I do live in Portland.
There are some pockets, I guess, over there. Some neighborhoods that are right.
Yeah, look, it's not to say that. I mean, we shouldn't sit here and just bash the area.
No,
but come on, you're
That's
not
where-
going to drop an MLB stadium on an 82nd.
Although,
good grief,
you know, we've always said you want some places to go before and after the game, and I will tell you, 82nd has some places you can go before and after the game.
So stupid.
Pussycats over there, you know.
Maybe your boy with the Sassies merch will be hanging out.
Yeah, you over there and get yourself a bucket of chicken. You know, just you can really get a flavor for the city of Portland over there. Of all the places.
Well, they're still negotiating a potential sale of Red Tail.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Rose City's out.
I for one am happy because I actually like playing Rose City Golf Course. It's a good little meaty over
you know,
there.
the city courses are not bad courses.
No.
Generally.
No, Heron Lakes and Rose City, they do a nice job.
The only one that sucks is Red Tail.
Well, that's
and it's not a bad layout. It's just it's goose poop, and it takes 17 hours to play there, and they actually kind of overcharge for it. So they need to buy Red. That would be great if they bought Red Tail.
That needs to go down.
I think it does.
I will say that sometimes the goose poop, it's
endearing.
It's not. It's
endearing.
It can be quite rough. What's the little the par 3 down there? Like, it's not really a par 3, but it's the
Red Tail?
No, the Colwood. Right
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Boy, there are some times where you are terrified to tee off because you're just hitting into a sea of geese, and you're like, ah.
Well, Heron Lakes too.
Yeah,
a lot of goose poop out there.
A lot of goose poop. And if it's wet, be prepared. Bring your galoshes.
All right. Next, fans to owners, an amazing middle finger. Here's Buck. Now to Chiefs news. They're saying that Rashee Rice was driving the Lamborghini that was in that crash.
Yeah, originally I think they were trying to do the no snitches and you can't prove it, but you see him in the car leaving out the passenger side second. So unless the driver climbed over the middle console and Rashee Rice, indeed he was driving. So today, finally, the lawyer came out and said the Corvette belongs to Rice. Rice was leasing the Lamborghini, $1,800 a day, by the way, for that.
Wait, so both cars were his?
Both cars. Well, the Corvette was owned. He was leasing the Lamborghini. Again, $1,800 a day. Seems like a good investment. And that he was indeed driving the Lamborghini, and now they're basically they were trying to do the we'll see what we can cover up here. Oh crap, we can't cover this up, so now we're having to do the we're sorry, we made a mistake. And
how seriously hurt were the people?
It doesn't appear that they no one was critically injured or anything like that.
So nothing's gonna happen to this guy.
Oh, he's gonna be in some trouble. One, there'll be some lawsuits. The NFL and the Chiefs are gonna really suspend him. I mean, because we don't know. There still hasn't been an explanation for why he ran. So there's some saying that there were guns, there were drugs, was he drunk, was he high, whatever. He's going to get a significant suspension by the NFL. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to cut him,
especially after the Henry Ruggs thing.
He's in some trouble. I don't know if this costs him his career necessarily, but this won't be a slap on the wrist. I don't know what the law is going to do. Whether he'll do any jail time or probation or plea or what, but he's not facing a 2 or 3 game suspension. It wouldn't surprise me if the NFL gave him half a year. I mean, again, you had a receiver 2 years ago do this exact same thing basically and burn a woman alive. The golden
retriever, don't forget.
And the golden retriever. His only saving grace is, one, we don't know if he was drunk or high because he ran from the scene, and 2, no one died. I mean, he is really, really lucky. Because have you seen the video of the wreck?
Yeah.
Dude, it's pretty spooky.
In other Chiefs news, the fans in Kansas City with a colossal middle finger.
I love it.
To Clark Hunt.
Yep.
You have to say that kind of slow.
Well, he's
Clark Hunt.
I wish we could say the other because he's that.
Clark.
He's a terrible.
Hunt.
Yeah.
Well, he got an F. The Chiefs are winning Super Bowl, so nobody really seems to care about this. But he got an F in the recent player survey regarding how he runs the Chiefs.
Yeah, and then he was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Well, apparently it's a mess.
Yeah,
over there.
They just have a really good coach, and they have that Pat Mahomes guy.
But Kansas City, the people of Kansas City, shoved it right back in his face because he was asking for a stadium tax to help pay for renovations for Arrowhead, and he wants the people to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's worth $24 billion.
He's got a
this is a bit like what we spoke about yesterday with athletic programs at rich universities. Like many of these universities are flush with money.
Yeah.
I mean, think about tuition rates and endowments and donations and rich donors, yet athletic programs are seemingly on their own.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, the fans in Kansas City are the athletic programs. Clark Hunt is the university, worth $24 million, and fans are saying, "Hey, we're not going to pay for your ass." Yeah. And I think that's great.
Because part of it too was the Royals want a new stadium in a different location, and I think they're asking for.
Which, by the way, I'll say this as a Royals fan, it's the idea of a new stadium downtown is great.
Because Kauffman Stadium right now is right by Arrowhead, and they want to move.
And if you don't know, they're way out of town. Like it's a 20-minute, 30-minute drive, depending on where you're coming from. It could be 45 minutes to get out there. It's like a concrete jungle parking lot in Independence, and it's a bad area to have the stadiums. But they're right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
So the Royals want to move downtown. They have a new owner, as we talked about earlier. But and again, the idea of a downtown ballpark is great. At the same time, there is no one that thinks Kauffman Stadium isn't awesome.
Yeah, it's one
right.
Of
It's really good.
Yeah, it's
still
and it's iconic. It's
and they've
beautiful.
renovated. They've dumped a lot of money in it.
Yep.
It's a really cool place to go see a game, but because money, got to build a new one. So they voted that down too.
I love it, especially when it comes to NFL. But I think in general, there should not be one effing dollar of public money that goes to an NFL team. That league makes $18 billion a year. Every one of those sons of bitches is worth billions. And if they sell, they're worth even more billions. And when they do these deals, they don't. None of the cities get any money from this, right? All the revenue is kept. They don't have control over the facility. It's not like they can use the facility for something other. I mean, they just, the idea of giving billionaires multi-billion-dollar stadiums is brain damage. And yet we do it consistently.
Well,
so I love when this was
too.
Jackson County,
Yeah.
gave them both the burden. Of course now,
58 to what? 42, I think.
yeah, and of course now the Hunt family is talking about moving across state lines.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my next thing. So right out of the playbook here would be the owner saying, well, if we can't get that money, we might have to go somewhere where they'll give it to us. Now, he is talking about Kansas, and that keeps it in the area, so that doesn't ruffle people's feathers.
You don't have to change the name. It's just, it goes from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas.
When does he start saying, well, you know, I don't know, what's
I can think of some other communities that would love us.
Right. What's a city that
Well, you know what's interesting
doesn't
is that
have NFL?
Pro Football Talk today, Florio and stuff were and it was kind of tongue in cheek, but the people of Dallas, the mayor of Dallas,
that's right,
wants two teams.
Yeah.
Jerry would never allow it. In order to move a team, you have to have a super majority. Jerry would never.
Jerry would start offing people like Putin.
Yeah,
if
you imagine the
was
Chiefs
gonna
moving
happen.
into Dallas because again the Cowboys are in Arlington and he wants the mayor of Dallas wants a team in the Cotton Bowl. They want him in Dallas proper. So some people say if you got another team in Texas, it would be San Antonio or like Austin. It wouldn't be in Dallas, but you know nothing would shock me if the douchey Hunt family started throwing out egregious things. Again, the Ilitch family that's worth like $5 billion were threatening to move the Red Wings out of Detroit. It's freaking hockey town, for God's sakes. They're like, well, if we don't get the money in the land for this stadium, we may have to look elsewhere.
That's just Hockey Town versus everybody for you.
Yeah, that is.
How did the fans react to that? Like
Some people were pissed, but the city gave them the land for $1. $1. That's what they were.
So they caved.
They caved. Yeah. And then the Ilitch family.
I gotta tell you.
The Ilitch family promised to build a bunch of stuff like around it, like affordable housing and stuff, and they haven't done.
I gotta tell you, I don't see the people, the voters of Kansas City really caving to Clark Hunt.
Well,
I don't see it.
Will the people of Kansas cave to him? Because at least then, because what's that? I mean, I
don't think so.
That's not much of a move, right? And
no, that's just a different county.
Different county. Because this is Jackson County that told them to.
Yeah, they're way out. Like the Chiefs are way out east.
Yeah,
and it's like Independent. I think the town out there or the suburb is called Independence. It's like the meth capital of the state.
That's where the Mormons.
And that's saying something in Missouri.
That's where the Mormons think that Jesus is coming back. By the way.
Yeah, I can tell you, he's not. I don't think he's going to come back there. I think he's changed his plans.
That's what's happening.
It's very methy.
Jesus comes back.
Hey, he walks among the sinners.
He's like, aha, I'm here. He's looking around. He's like, oh, man.
He's like, whoa.
I got to rethink
He chose
this.
the wrong spot.
It's just, I know that people keep caving under pressure, but we have got to, as a society, just start looking at this and being like, stop giving billionaires $1 billion. It's not $1 billion, to multi-billion dollar stadiums. Just stop it.
All right, Anthony Kim speaks next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Buck with football notes.
You want Bo Jackson or Bo Nix in relation to Oregon?
Well, I saw the Bo Jackson thing, but that's stupid because it has nothing to do with the actual Bo Jackson.
That's correct. It's a recruit named Bo Jackson.
Let's go with Bo Nix.
Bo Nix met with the Las Vegas Raiders on Friday. You like that as a fit for Bo, potentially?
No.
Yeah, he's super Jesus guy.
I like him in Denver.
Yeah, I need like a real Kenny Stabler in Vegas. Come on.
That's right. A gunslinger.
There you go.
Maybe a drinker. He doesn't fit in Vegas.
Stetson Bennett.
That's right.
Baker Mayfield.
Mods PDX, the future of building, is here.
The home of dirt and spray.
That's right. It's your boy Isachi.
How many people are tuning in
Oh
for
my God.
just randomly and are like, what in the hell? You're confusing the people.
Isachi.
Confusing the people with your women's glasses
Hey.
and your new fancy name.
Dude, brands take time, bro. Brands take time. New branding. I am now Isachi. Please respect it. Isachi.
You got it. I can't wait for the release of your signature scent, Juicy by Isachi.
It's coming.
It's going to be fantastic.
All right.
And some honeysuckle. What would your signature scent smell like?
Me.
What do you, I don't know. Do you have a smell? I can't say that I necessarily smell you.
Delight.
Some people have like a I don't know, just like you immediately when they walk into a room, you're like, oh, that smells like so and so. It's been 20 years. I don't think you have a scent.
Oh, I have a musk. And it's going to be bottled.
Can't wait.
And you're going to love it. Isachi. Anthony Kim is making the rounds. Well, he's not really.
No, he's
but
just...
Liv is putting out Anthony Kim content.
Yeah.
And it is the content that we wanted.
Yeah, I saw the interview with him.
Well, there have been several. The one with David Faraday.
That's the one that I saw.
It's about 20 minutes. Worth a watch. I mean, if you're as interested in what happened with Anthony Kim as I am, it's worth a watch. He doesn't
say much.
He doesn't.
He talks about dark days and demons.
But you can read between the lines of what he's saying, and I think that the general takeaway there is that Anthony Kim, it wasn't just drugs. It's the classic case of parents gave up everything to push him into golf. He didn't really love golf, felt a lot of pressure from golf, and was mentally, he didn't have, I've heard Naomi Osaki talk about this, and they all say kind of the same things, where they just didn't have an identity outside of the sport, and they were good at that sport, and so it just became all about that, and they had too much pressure, and they like Osaki is not a drug addict by any means, but Anthony Kim he had some mental health problems, clearly was in a bad place and depression, and then he turned to drugs, and that turned into a bunch of people around him that didn't have his best interests.
And he had a bunch of surgeries too. His
Yeah.
body did break down.
Yeah, he said, one of the more interesting things he said was not in the Faraday interview, but I saw a thing with him today where he said that when he had his surgery on his, I think it was an Achilles maybe?
He had his Achilles and he had his back fused too.
When he had that first surgery and he was so disgusted, he said he was already spiraling. He was still playing golf but missing cuts and abusing drugs and stuff. He didn't say that, but you could read between the lines that he was going down that path. He said that he texted 100 people and he said, get over here. You can have everything that I own. Golf clubs, hat. He said, I have 3 rooms full of clubs, hats, bags, ball, you name it, golf. Get over here. Whoever gets over here first takes it all. He said, for all these years we've wondered, where's Anthony Kim? Where's Anthony Kim? Yeah. He did not play golf.
I understand, but
ever.
Isn't that weird? Like you think about like a buddy that you have. You got a successful buddy. And if he called you, I couldn't do it. Like you know that dude is spiraling and you just go over and take his stuff?
I could do it.
Really?
Well, does he have lefty clubs?
Yeah, he's got lefty clubs.
Then I'm in.
Oh man. That's just
sorry about your problems, dude.
Yeah, I know that your nose is collapsing from a blow problem and you're on a mental health breakdown, but I really appreciate this set of TaylorMades.
Look, he wants to get rid of him. Who am I to deny him?
A quick sidebar, I'd like to be on the list for the hand-me-down ROP lefty clubs.
Are you a lefty?
I am a lefty.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you are on the list.
Hey.
When you have your breakdown, I just think that when I saw that,
it's coming.
I was like, "What an absolute pile of crap, friends." Which probably
says
the people around him.
He basically said there were a bunch of snakes around him, and he didn't realize it. He was deep into it. Like if first of all you have to do is look at him to see how rough the last 10 years have been on him.
Well, his nose is completely collapsed.
It is bad.
How much blow do you have to do to completely collapse your nasal cavity?
But now he's in Oklahoma City with his wife, and he's got a little girl. And he said they asked him, they said, when did you actually pick up the clubs? He said, when I got the call from Liv.
Yeah.
He goes, he was flirting a little bit with the PGA Tour, but Liv called him, and then, of course, they offered him a gajillion dollars.
gave
He's
him
like,
some
okay.
guaranteed
I
money
guess I
and-
could pick those clubs up
Well,
again.
and he said that he
exactly.
cashed in. He didn't say how much, but he said he cashed in part of an insurance policy that's rumored to be like.
And he
10
can't talk about
He can't talk about it, but he's had although how much of that went up his nose and whatnot, but
Yeah, he needed the Liv money, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing.
And he seems to be doing better, and
he's
that's
not,
really
he's not
about
playing well at all, but.
No, well, I mean, that's to be expected. Although they said he shot a 65 on the last day at the Liv tournament.
Well,
Not
that's
that
good.
anyone watches that.
No.
By the way, did you see what Bryson DeChambeau said?
No, what did the doucher say?
Boy, that guy has some real balls. Or he's just
he's that much of an idiot.
Thick.
He is this oblivious.
See, sometimes you mistake balls for
Oh my
being a
God.
moron, and
Dude, this guy is king moron. He came out and basically said, look, we realize no one is watching Liv. We realize this has probably been a mistake, and the two tours need to unite fast. That's what he said.
Oh yeah, I see it right here. Yeah.
Do you have a quote? Read his quote.
His quote, the one in the title of the article is, "It needs to happen fast."
Yeah, you mean like the tour you had before you left? Yeah.
Yeah, but he got.
What are you talking about?
Come on, man.
He got a couple $100 million.
What did? Yeah, I get that. Just take the money and shut up. Then you don't have to say, "Oh man, I got $200 million, and oh by the way, this was dumb. We should put it all back together."
Yeah.
Shut up.
He says we can't keep going in this direction. It's not sustainable for sure.
Yeah, because no one's at your tournaments. No one watches your tournament. No one cares about you anymore.
Yeah, he definitely. There's definitely some in here.
God, what an idiot.
He said when he did it, he said he originally thought it was about growing the game of golf, and now he realizes that's not happening. It was growing the game of golf, Bryson. Really? That $200 million that he got, that was about growing the game?
Dude.
Stop it.
Also, is he going to get off by the Saudis for saying it's not growing the game of golf now?
Well, supposedly they have a bunch of stuff in their contract because Phil's got leaked, and there's some pretty strong language in there about you're not allowed to be critical of Jack's squad.
This sounds very close to that.
Well,
he says
he's not smart enough to realize it, though.
This is what he said. He goes, if we don't have fans, we don't have golf.
Yeah, well, you don't have fans, you dumbass.
You literally left to somewhere that didn't have fans and had to come up with new ones.
Exactly. You left for a stupid tour with a dumb team game, and you're blaring music, and you did this.
Yeah, too many people are losing interest. It's
my God.
Yeah, his quotes here. This is from Yahoo. They're not great. I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen the doucher. And yes, if he's not careful, the bone saw may come out.
Can you imagine he just dies?
Just disappeared, and we just wonder.
Yeah, he just disappears.
Look,
he falls out a window.
I would say that there's no way, but the Saudis did murder a very well-known journalist, and it was on camera. And then it collectively went, meh. Look, let me say for the record, I do not want Bryson DeChambeau to die. Not a fan.
I don't either.
Nobody.
I don't want him to die.
No.
But I'll say this.
If you got to sacrifice one,
you'd miss him the least?
I'm just saying it would be the most interesting sports story of all time if a government that has been known, and look, all governments are, so I don't want to just sit here and point, not like we don't kill people either, but a government agency that within the last few years has killed someone, and everyone knows it, and collectively just went, yeah, what are you going to do about it? For them to kill a major sports star because he was critical of them would be the most fascinating thing of all time. Because we can sit up here all we want and be like, oh, the outrage. And you know what there would be? You know what the Saudis would say? Meh. They're like, yeah.
Should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah. And then they'd look at, and then someone would put a mic in Phil's face, and Phil would be like, I don't want to say anything.
I can't comment on that.
I can't comment on it. It's like every time Putin shoves someone out a window, we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Nothing. He just killed his biggest political rival. Killed him. And everyone's like,
yeah, but don't act like we don't do that, ass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But to have someone come, tell me that wouldn't be the most fascinating story in the history of sports.
No, it certainly would be.
Yeah, but we don't kill him for that.
Yeah.
We'll kill for it. We'll kill
what
Epstein.
Do we kill for?
Well, Epstein. We offed him.
What about the guy in?
We'll kill Diddy.
What was the movie or the series on Netflix? We just watched it.
Series on Netflix. Blip, 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 blip. I don't know.
The whatever.
The whatever. The what have you. Who? What? The Nickelodeon thing?
Oh my god.
No
The
one's
Octopus Murders.
Oh, I haven't
Have you seen that
I haven't
yet?
seen that yet.
I started that, but I'm not very far into it.
Yeah. Well, the U.S. government offed an American journalist.
Oh.
And it's
Okay.
pretty clear that they did.
Well, we may have killed that Boeing guy,
but he knew too much.
That's a little suspicious.
Well, that's what I mean. Like here we just covered up better.
Yeah. Yeah, the Saudis are
they're just flipping about it.
Yeah, they just invited him into like a room, and then they're like, "Hey, we see the camera of him coming. He went in, and he never came out." And then the government went, I don't know.
I do not know.
You imagine DeChambeau like gives an interview at a live tournament, and then he walks into the tent, and then he's never seen again. And someone's like, "Dude, we see him walk in, and he never left." And the Saudis are like,
"What do you want?"
I don't know. And he's just gone. I'm sorry. It would be the best and the worst thing to ever happen in sports journalism.
Well, he's an idiot.
Would it stop live golf?
No. I think it would make them all be like, okay, I'll be there next week. Can't wait to see you. Thanks, guys.
Be teeing off.
And by the way, can
They'd be
I
like,
say
have
this?
you seen the airplane? Because that live plane is ridiculous.
I say one more thing about Live. Nobody is watching Live. It's stupid. Don't watch it. I don't know anybody that's watching it. Like, not one person.
There's one dude on the text program on the Vancouver Ford text line that gets mad at us because apparently he loves Live. There's one guy, and it might be a bot.
And I was gonna say, like, that's fake. Like there's no one that there's just it's awful. I don't know if you've watched it.
So bad.
But I gotta say that I am really, for as much as Phil and Bryson and those original guys hurt the game of golf, I'm really, really, really disappointed in John Rahm because that dude waited.
A while.
Those guys at least had the balls to go first and go, you know what? We think we're, whether they thought that or not, or just taking the money. They're like, we think we're doing this for the game and, we're going to make this move because they're upset with the PGA Tour. I get, my brain can go there. I see it. I get it. But John Rahm freaking waited a whole year and then looked at the offer. He knew what Live was. And he then still took the money.
He's like, this is a trash pile, but it's worth a
But
lot.
I'm going to take it.
To be fair,
those other guys didn't know what it would be. He knew.
They offered him 150, then 180, then 200, and then supposedly he took somewhere between 3 and 4. So did he wait too long or did he wait just enough? I am not going to sell my soul for 150. I will not sell my soul for 2 and a quarter. 350 done.
Yeah, well, bite me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Douche.
Rory never did.
It is 6:03. We'll get to the club next on the Fan. Hey, I'm going to stick around here and tell you about the Window Nation, bros. Whether
Nice try. But they paid her. They said he agreed to give her give her money to go find a new place. I'm sorry. You know that they had conversations. That just didn't happen. And Tiger was like, look, I think we should probably go our separate ways. And she's like, no, we can work on it. And if we just commit to it. And he's like, no, seriously, you should leave my house. No.
Hey, a trip.
No, it's great. And if we just work on it. He tried. And then it was like, okay, why don't we work on it on a trip? I'm sorry. That's amazing. It's mean, but it's amazing. And it's amazing. And whoever came up with that and hatched the plan.
It's clever, but it's awful.
Is it? Because she clearly is a gold digger. 100%. She's with Tiger due to his wonderful charm. Stop it. I don't feel bad for her one bit.
They were together a while.
Yeah, a couple years, right?
But her name's Erica Herman.
Mm-hmm.
And he met, she was like a GM or maybe
she was like a manager
bartender
at one of his
restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's got a thing for the bar staff.
I'm reading here. Well, he's got a restaurant right around the corner from his house in Jupiter.
And that's where she was working.
And I guess he goes in there and hits all the talent. But he's not doing it right now because he's got, the Masters.
The Masters on his mind.
So he's going to be out there, I guess, next week.
Erica will not be. Yeah, I guess she dismissed her $30 million lawsuit.
Yes.
And with prejudice, so she can't. Her complaint was she wanted $30 million because she claims that Tiger said that he would take care of her for 10 years or whatever it was. And she's claiming that that's what it would cost to take care of her for that period of time. Gold digger, straight down the line. Sorry.
Well, look, I mean, if I'm dating Tiger Woods and it goes south, I'm trying to get that bag before I hit the
Well, then here's
tarmac.
the thing. Let me amend, because I have said multiple times.
Aren't you? I think a lot of people are.
Probably. Well, especially when
because they weren't married.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And she signed an NDA.
She's there for one reason and one reason only. Let's not act like Tiger's an old romantic. What was the stories like when he sits down to eat with you, right? You sit down to a nice meal. Tiger eats as fast as possible and then gets up and leaves. If that's what he's doing while eating, what do you think he's doing in the bedroom?
Well, one of the hooers that he was stooping, didn't she say that he was really pathetic?
Yes.
In that he was really lonely, and so they would do it because he was a sex addict or whatever. And
I don't know we're laughing like
And then he would ask "Hey, could you go get me a Subway sandwich?" Seriously, and he would eat. He would be like, he's so pathetic. He's like sitting there eating lettuce is falling all over his torso, naked Subway.
And there are few.
What?
Few things more depressing than asking for that.
I mean, dude, some of the detail. Like, you want to talk about salacious sports stories? You were talking about if Bryson DeChambeau were offed by Liv.
Yeah.
Are we giving enough credit to the Tiger Woods story? The whole thing?
It's unbelievable.
Because
all the way down to the Perkins waitresses? Yeah.
Oh, my God. Some of the details of that were insane.
In the golf club in the back of the car when it all came to a head.
Oh, yeah. Elin hit him in the face with the 5-iron while he was all pilled out. I also, let's not dismiss the fact that the Masters, was it Woody? Who was the guy?
It was Woody Johnson.
Woody Johnson stood up there at a press conference with Tiger Woods in front of his mom and chastised Tiger Woods. And Tiger had to sit there and take it.
That whole thing where Tiger had to go Hootie Johnson.
Hootie Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes. Hootie was up there. Was like, it was reprehensible. He stained Augusta.
I thought it was weird that Tiger had to go out there and say all that stuff in front of his mom.
I know.
Like, I mean, sure, maybe you had the conversation with your mom, but not on national television.
Tiger
in front
should
of
have
everyone.
turned to him and been like, first off, bite me. Second, I got 6 waitresses in the back. We're going to go do something really, really depraved right now. Flip that guy the bird and walked off. Who the hell is that guy to demand an apology over Tiger Woods over doing something in his own private life? Get bent.
Well, that whole story is just
it's crazy.
Awesome.
Yes.
It really is. It's crazy. It's got everything because it ends, and I prefer we were talking about this on the golf course the other day. I prefer the ending of the Tiger Woods story to be that last Masters
where
win.
He wins, yes. And then just cut it
But
off.
then he just keeps going and nearly kills himself in a car accident.
Pilled out again and rolls the car.
So do we think that's eventually it's going to end in that ilk, or is he going to just
Hopefully
fade off and retire quietly?
Hopefully he's clean now.
I mean,
I don't know. He's awful jacked.
Well,
Have you seen that?
Well, he's not clean on. He's
His
not
upper
clean
body,
off the roids.
He's jacked.
Well, again, when you can't walk, eventually he's got to get a big upper body to crutch himself around. He's clearly on the sauce, but I'm just saying I don't know if he's on the Ambien and the pills and whatever the hell else he was doing, because clearly he was. But I'd like to make an amendment to
Will he play on the senior? He's only a couple years
he could
away.
play on the senior tour.
I don't think he will.
Be kind of cool if he did. I'd show up to
Would
watch
it?
it. Yeah, I'd show him watch senior.
I
Like,
don't.
Him
I
and
don't-
Freddie out there.
I don't see him playing in those tournaments.
Yeah.
Phil doesn't. I think he's played in a few.
Well, and because
Well, he's gone now, but-
and he can still play.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing. I think
if Tiger can't,
but Tiger is always going to think that he's above that.
But you can use the golf cart on the senior tour.
Can you?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think the seniors can use
Really?
the rooms. I think so. Look that up.
I'm looking it up.
But again, I'm making my amendment. When your relationship is in trouble, don't go on a cruise, don't go hiking, and for the love of God, don't meet your husband or spouse at the private airport because, quote, you're going on an amazing trip. The locks will be changed. Don't do it. She should have known better.
Yeah,
It's like, wait a minute, this guy's been trying to kick me out of his house, and now he wants me to pack a bunch of my belongings up and meet him at the airport, but we're not going together. I'm sorry, you got duped. That's on you.
Yeah, you're right. I guess Jack Nicklaus was on Nick Faldo's podcast recently, and he said that Woods has already told him that he will play on the Champions Tour, the Senior Tour, because they do allow golf carts, and he thinks that he can compete
without having to walk
if he doesn't have to walk.
Yeah.
Because that's, Nota Begay said what he's working on right now, besides not doing it, is just, it's not the golf, it's the
Walking.
stamina of walking 4
Yeah.
days in a row.
Yeah.
Or 5 or whatever.
So, like, is there a way? What if we got... All right, follow me
It's
on
going to
this
be
one.
weird to see him on the Champions Tour.
I'm asking something here. Because we know in the PGA you can't use the golf cart. But what about this? Giant caddy. We go get ourselves like a big old huge CrossFit.
A Tiger Sherpa?
Yeah. Yeah, go get
You can
one.
wear
We don't-
him?
We don't even know. I was thinking like big Viking guy, but you're right. Go get one of those Sherpas. I watched a video of that Sherpa on Mount Everest. He carried all the gear and that passed out climber on his back down for like a day and a half. We get a Sherpa out there. He carries the bag in front. Tiger gets on the back and he walks Tiger around the course.
Gosh.
Is that legal?
That's like Hodor in
Yes.
Game of Thrones. Love it. For
Yes.
Bran Stark, yeah.
I'm going to have to go look at the rules of golf.
I am into this idea.
I think this is amazing. Tiger's people out at Nike. Oh, he's not with Nike anymore. Damn it. Someone get a hold. Let's go. I got ideas.
What's this new stupid thing? Sunday Red or something
Sunday
like
Red,
that?
but it's with
Split up the word
Adidas
Sunday?
or TaylorMade, same difference. Yeah. He can play. He can't walk. He can't use a cart. Where in the rules says that I can't get a piggyback from a Sherpa? That's the question is.
I like where your head's at.
He can't, because that's not a motorized vehicle. Does it say that I actually have to walk the course under my own 2 power?
Here's the law, because this came up in the Casey Martin case.
About a Sherpa?
Someone was going to carry him?
God, this is amazing. Like
No, he wanted to ride, you dummies.
No, I know riding, but I'm thinking like, what if we got a giant human being and then they gave him a baby Bjorn and he sat like in the front, in the front of that thing.
Like a decade ago, you had the Big Show Paul White out there to just like haul around a smaller golfer.
It's amazing.
The PGA, the tour rule reads, players shall walk at all times during a stipulated round unless permitted to ride by the PGA Tour Rules Committee.
Well, technically, he is walking.
No, his caddy's walking. He's riding.
Yeah, he's not walking.
What if we had him move his feet at the he hung down behind and he moved his feet and they were just barely.
Does walking mean touch the ground?
You have one of those front of the horse, back of the horse costume situations.
Yeah. You have to be walking at all times.
Walking is deemed an integral part of playing the game of golf.
Damn it.
So they require it.
It's disappointing. Because I was like, if all it is you can't use a cart or any motorized thing, I thought I found a sweet loophole there with the Sherpa.
What if he? Okay, hear me out on this one. Then.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. Yeah. What if he had He had 2 little hoverboards under his little feetsies.
Yeah.
But then he put on fake feet that moved mechanically, that looked like he was walking, but he was really hovering the whole way.
He's got robot hover legs.
Yeah, robot hover legs. What do you think?
We need to get on this. Come on. Let's go, Tiger. I remember once they were saying that, like, the last time he made his comeback, that the screw in his ankle stuck out of his skin. He was playing golf, and there was a metal screw sticking out of his ankle.
It's like, I probably can't keep going. You know what you think?
He said it was rubbing against his shoe. Like, hey, what's going on? Nothing.
Something feels weird down there. Oh, it's the hardware in my joint popping out of my skin.
Has he already become pathetic?
A little bit.
Or is it not there yet?
No.
It's getting close.
Like, once he starts hawking, like, Skechers and stuff like that, like, then I'll...
I think it's close,
We
man.
know where it's heading. We know where it's heading.
All right, I did something today that was great, because I'm great.
Excited for you.
Best ever. Nobody's ever done it like this.
It was amazing.
No, I had something at the house. Boy, I tell you, this is where it's at. I wonder if you guys do this as well.
Again, if BTJ was into it, maybe I would.
She might be into it. I don't know.
Let's throw it out there.
622 on the Fan.
Thanks to George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law and our fan listeners. Fan madness at X-Golf Vancouver and X-Golf Tualatin was a hole-in-one.
We love your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
To support us in drinking on the company dime.
Injuries and missing work ruining your day? Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com. He'll make them pay. Thanks for joining us for our annual Fan Madness basketball parties at Oakland A and X-Golf with Portland's sports leader, 1080.
It was electric.
The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Got a crash on the Glen Jackson Bridge northbound 205 before 14, blocking a lane. Traffic's backed up from 84 south 205 before 26. Also a crash backs up from 84. I'm Claire Beverly with traffic.
Portland Perks. Looking for some fun that the whole family can enjoy? Right now, you can get one ride bracelet to Oaks Amusement Park and get a second one free. A limited quantity is available only at portlandperks.com. Oaks Park, where the fun never ends.
Join 1080 The Fan and Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This Earth Day, we're teaming up with Free Geek for our Tech Now Drive. On April 19th, bring your unused laptops, tablets, and mobile phones to Washington Square. Free Geek's goal is to divert technology that would otherwise be recycled or thrown away, refurbish it, and give it back to our community at low or no cost. Our Tech Drive is Friday, April 19th from 11 to 4 in the Washington Square Mall parking lot. For more info, go to freegeek.org/technow.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's
if the problem, I don't think it's at the hot tub, I think it's at the electrical box. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I can do that. So he comes out, and this is all he did. He disconnected the hot tub from the power cord, which took him all of 8 seconds. You had to unscrew like 3 things. And then he flipped the box, and the box stayed on. It didn't trip the breaker, and he goes, oh, no, that's your hot tub, not that. And then he goes, do you want me to, I could screw that back in. I'm like, well, I can do that. And he goes, well, charge it either way. So I was like, okay, you do it. $170.
That's just to get there. Just to get him on site.
Just to get him on site. And
God,
I was like, oh. Because I was like, hey, remember a year ago you put that in for me? I was like, is there any chance? He's like, oh, yeah. It kind of seemed like it was one of those nonchalant, like.
Oh, you were trying to get a little wink nod deal?
I thought maybe a bet. Like, I was like, hey, if you've got spare time, I'm like, could you just come out and check it real quick? I just need to know. Because I was
love that he stuck it to you.
Well, I was like, if it's an electrical problem, then yeah, right? Like, do what you got to do and I'll pay it. Or, it's probably still under warranty.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just need to know before I call the hot tub people out. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I can swing by. He goes, I got a couple jobs out that way. And he's a super nice guy. But when I got the bill, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking that was a freebie.
He was out there for like 5 minutes.
Wow. You think he's pocketing that then? He's doing it on the side? Because that's what you wanted. You wanted him on the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes on the side, but then
probably straight cash.
But then he's like, just pay me directly.
Yeah.
This is how I make it.
It was like $159.95.
They're like, but you got to call. He's like, yeah, they didn't really need anything. Takes your money.
So it was just like, that's what I said. When someone comes to your house, the fact that that's only $25, shocked.
Dealership, man.
I would have thought for certain, if you said, what's the cost of that? I'm going at least $80 to $100. That's a sweetheart of a deal.
Yeah, sometimes if you're at the fancy places, they'll give you a loaner while you've got your oil, or you're getting your oil changed.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Must be nice to be Isaac Robb dealing with those.
Well, I never got that, but people on the text line are saying, they have nice cars and, like Lexus and Audi, those guys. They'll give you just take this.
It's
a $100,000 car. Bring it back on Monday. We'll have your car done.
That's a different realm.
It is.
I've never had a super
I tell you though,
luxury car.
I've had an Audi, and I'm going back to Audi the second I can do it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how great it was until I left it.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Q7, and it was freaking rad as hell. Probably wouldn't get that again, but we're going back to Audi. But I will say, this guy says on the text line, where the hell do auto dealerships get the nerve to charge you $140 for a GD oil change?
Yep.
That's what Audi was.
Yeah.
Like if you charged, or if you took it certainly out of the dealership, it's $150, $175 for an oil change.
Yep. That's the one thing. People say, like, a lot of people can buy those cars. Not everyone can afford to own one. Years ago, I had a Cadillac.
Yeah, because if something goes wrong,
if
like something severely goes wrong,
Yes.
you're in for a lot of dough.
Well, I have always, one of my true dear friends in this world is in the car business. And so before he was at Ford, he was at Cadillac. So I bought a Cadillac from him. And before that, when he was at BMW, bought a BMW from him, used. And I remember when I still had the Cadillac, and he was over at the Ford dealer, and then eventually I switched out for Fords, and I've been driving Fords ever since. I brought my Cadillac in. One of the headlights went out on it. It was an older, used model. And I said, dude, I looked up changing the headlight, and it kind of seemed like a whole thing. Like normally under my old cars, like changing headlights wasn't a big deal. And I said, I looked it up on YouTube, and I said, it seemed like kind of an involved process. He goes, bring it by. He goes, my service team will take care of it for you. So we go to lunch, and we thought by the time we'd come back from lunch, right, the headlights would be, we'd come back. The whole front end of my Cadillac is off. They had to take off the bumper. They had to take off the grill. And I'm sitting there looking at this thing, and I was like, oh my God, I swear luxury cars do that on purpose. They make changing everything on those things the hardest thing in the world so that you have to bring it in to the dealer. I remember their service technician being like, dude, I've never seen, this is so stupid. This makes zero sense that a car company would build this to make changing a headlight this difficult. And there are luxury, like that's.
How is that not a lawsuit? That's like Apple doing
Yes.
all their
Yes.
bullshit.
They want it to where if something goes wrong with the car, you can't take it into a
Service.
normal service. No, you bring it into them.
This guy-
And they can take the front end of your car off.
We got a guy with a S500 Mercedes, $500 for his oil change.
Yep. I know a buddy with a Porsche GT3. You don't want to know.
No, I do. Tell me.
It's not $500.
$1,200.
More.
$1,500.
Bingo. Damn. $1,500.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
When he told me that, I was like, what?
That's another level, man.
It's like, what?
Why? Like, is
I don't
is it
know.
really that?
I think it's run
They
on.
just do it because it's Porsche?
I think it's run on like angel tears or something. I don't know. It's the blood of small
I mean, is
children.
it really that hard? It's an oil change.
I don't know. It's
okay. Fine, we'll break. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center
different people that a lot of my married friends, their spouses aren't happy with my views on marriage. They feel that somehow I have like some sort of influence on those around me.
Watchdogs over the metropolitan.
Which is why I think I'm catching shade from my buddy who is
Why do
actually.
they care?
I don't know. What does it
So
matter?
they think because you think that, then their husband is going to think that?
I think they think, yes, I'm poisoning minds with my with
well,
my
you are.
theory.
But
it's possible.
Dude, he's such an effing loser.
I just don't appreciate catching strays and getting blamed for things.
I don't think that's a stray, though.
How is that not a stray?
Because you said it.
Okay, here's the thing. If I say that marriage is stupid and then someone I know gets divorced or a listener, like, again, let me say this for the record. If you make a major decision in your life, like getting married or divorced, based on something I say with me and Asachi over here, I'm sorry. I'm not the one that you should be listening to when it's, oh, no, maybe I should. That's not my fault.
You can only really serve one ass.
No, it's definitely not your fault, but
I took 10.
They're going to criticize your commentary.
Yes.
You're going to get criticized for that.
My buddy's kid told him I believe it was 90% his fault and 10% mine. And I'm like, what?
Well, at least she only gave you 10.
So what is 10? I'll take like 2. And by the way, no blame going the other way? None?
Well, scientists better check their hypotenuses, dude.
I didn't like it. Now they're catching strays on it. I just heard from several people that were like, yeah. And how did that get back? You know, their wives aren't listening, which means it somehow circled back to them. That drives me nuts, is when someone's like, hey, so-and-so was listening to you today. I'm like, whoa, you didn't even hear it.
Yep.
You're hearing it like third person, and now I'm catching.
And it's never what was actually said.
And you know what's worse is when it's even like oh, hey, did you hear? And they're like, oh, no, what? Oh, no, I shouldn't say. Yeah. Oh, no, did you? No, you got to tell me now. And then it all comes out.
That stuff is so just mind-numbingly stupid. I used to get that all the time when I went to church. I had to listen to that every week. Someone would pull me aside and be like, we need to talk. And I'm like, no, we don't.
Yeah, you weren't spreading the you weren't towing the company line.
Well, sorry. Whose business is that? Not yours.
Well, I think in the church of I think it is.
Here's my thing. If the leader doesn't hear it, like, really someone's going to him and being like, hey, so-and-so is, like, what sort of fifth grade tattletale
Dude, the Mormon
horse crap
church.
it's based on?
Dude, that's what they all do.
Just always
it's the gossipiest group of people I've ever seen in my life.
Just drove me insane.
Look, I've got some friends that are LDS.
Great people.
Great. I mean,
they
gossip like crazy.
Well, what else?
They can't imbibe in anything, so why not?
Exactly. You can't smoke. You can't drink. You can't be doing the porn and whatnot. So what?
I don't like talking about other people. Let's talk about something interesting. It's not gonna be Not gonna be you. I don't want to talk about you.
I think there might be soaking going on. Talk about that.
All right, we got a break. We're gonna wrap it up next. That's what we're gonna do. It's 6:48 on the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spread.